Good evening, soccer fans, and welcome to the Rochester Raging Rhinos pregame show, sponsored by Perry's Ice Cream. I'm Joe Giuliano, your host for the pre- and post-game show this season. Tonight, this is an evening of historic proportions, as Paytech Park has finally been completed, and the Rhinos will take to the field for the first time. Tonight, the opponent, the Virginia Beach Mariners. It's been a very long and exhausting battle, but with the hard work of Frank Duras, Steve Donner, Chris Economides, and Matthew Ford, Paytech Park opens tonight. It is truly an honor to begin the first ever broadcast for the Rochester Raging Rhinos from the newest sports facility in Rochester, Paytech Park. And just looking into the crowd, the stands are filling up. The green and gold seats are getting covered with soccer fans here, and this is an incredible venue to watch a soccer match from. It's a dream come true for the fans, for the organization. If you're lucky enough to have a ticket tonight, it is going to be an incredible experience tonight. The Rhinos and the Virginia Beach Mariners opening up Paytech Park. Well, you've heard all the media coverage surrounding the grand opening of Paytech Park, but the reason 13,700 fans are here tonight is to watch the 5-0-2 Rochester Raging Rhinos take on the 3-1-1 Virginia Beach Mariners. Coach Callaway has kept his bunch of players very low-key this week. Even joked last week on the post-game show about taking them to Lake Placid to avoid the hype surrounding this historic event in the Rochester sports history. The Rhinos are hungry to return home after 7 straight road games that saw the team score 9 goals and give up only 1 goal. The backline leader has definitely been Scotty Vallow with an amazing 0.14 goals against average, tops in the USL First Division. Scott Pelguta's solid defensive play also landing him on the USL First Division Team of the Week with Scott Vallow. The Rhinos are coming off 2 straight 0-0 matches, one against Vancouver and one against Virginia Beach. After going scoreless in the last 2 matches, the Rhinos are looking to explode tonight at Paytech Park, opening up this beautiful soccer-specific stadium. Tonight's opponent, the Virginia Beach Mariners, feature 2 former Rhinos, 35-year-old Craig Demon and 26-year-old Pato Aguilar. Demon is returning from a hamstring injury, while Pato is recovering from off-season knee surgery. Both players are on the lineup tonight. We'll see if they're starting. Don Stevens will have that information as we begin kickoff tonight. Mariners head coach Jay Hoffman said both are on the verge of returning to the lineup. Again, Don Stevens will have the starters for both Virginia Beach and the Rochester Raging Rhinos. When we come back, we'll take a look at Paytech Park. Tonight, we make history in Rochester. It's the Rhinos against the Virginia Beach Mariners. It's the grand opening of Rochester's soccer-specific stadium, Paytech Park. You're listening to the Rhinos Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the Rochester Rhinos pregame show, sponsored by Perry's Ice Cream. I'm Joe Giuliano, live at the grand opening of Rochester's soccer-specific stadium, Paytech Park. And for 10 years, Rhinos fans were treated to some dominating performances at Frontier Field. But soccer fans, that all changes tonight with the grand opening of Paytech Park, a soccer-specific stadium built for the Rochester Raging Rhinos. Paytech is the 8th soccer-specific stadium to open up in the U.S. That's a true testament to the growth of the game of soccer in this country. Let's look at some specifics regarding Paytech Park. Capacity, as I mentioned in the open, 13,700 fans will be packing the rafters here tonight at Paytech Park. The sightlines, true soccer sightlines without a doubt. It's going to be no comparison to the seats at Frontier Field. You're on top of the action here. I think Don Stevens and I are about 30 yards away from the playing surface, which is field turf approved by FIFA. So the Rhinos getting away from the grass, dirt, and sod of Frontier Field. It's going to be a totally different playing experience and viewing experience for the fans who are lucky enough to have tickets tonight. Those of you without tickets, you have to listen to the broadcast, but if you get a chance, you've got to experience a Rhinos game at brand new Paytech Park. The dimensions, 120 by 77. Frontier Field approximately was 105 by 67. And the video scoreboard, probably one of the most beautiful additions to the stadium here. It's 18 by 33. It's a giant state-of-the-art scoreboard manufactured by Daktronics. No comparison to the old scoreboard at Frontier Field, which has since been replaced. Also an electronic message board across the upper deck above our broadcast location here at Paytech Park. 4 light towers, 135 feet high, and the suites are scaled back here for 2006. There's going to be 17 suites with air conditioning, heat, refrigerator, wet bar, full-service catering, private restroom. Those will be ready for 2007. And I think the most important section that the fans want to know about, the Rowdies. Section 132 is reserved for the Stampede, the best soccer fans in the U.S. They'll be cheering on the Rhinos, hopefully to a big victory as they open up Paytech Park this evening. When we come back, Sam Schreier will be speaking with the head coach of the Virginia Beach Mariners, Mr. Jay Hoffman. You're listening to the Rhinos pregame show, sponsored by Perry's Ice Cream. This is the Rhinos Broadcast Network.
Hi, Soccer Sam here for Salvatore's Pizzeria, the family from Rochester, New York, and proud of it. Salvatore's has been supplying schools and nonprofit groups with all their pizza needs since 1978. Salvatore's Pizza Fundraisers. Your group can sell and make pizzas, or Salvatore's pasta sauce and hot pizza slices. Salvatore's will deliver hot pizza slices to your event, pre-cut and ready to sell. Call 234-5555 or check out salvatores.com.
234-5555.
Salvatores!
Welcome back to the Rochester Raging Rhinos pregame show. This is Sam Schreier live in the studio, getting set for the Rhinos versus the Virginia Beach Mariners for the second straight game, and it's finally here. It's June 3rd. It's time for the home opener. The Rhinos are opening up Paytech Park for the first time this season. We'll go out to Don Stevens in just a few minutes for the call of tonight's game, but first I'm very pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Virginia Beach Mariners once again, Jay Hoffman. Coach Hoffman, thanks again for being on the pregame show with us.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Coach Hoffman, first of all, I must ask you, I know you're probably expecting this question, but here we go. How does it feel to be the first team to come into Paytech Park opening night? It's going to be an incredible atmosphere. What are your thoughts about opening up the stadium against the Rhinos tomorrow night?
Well, I think if you take the positives from it, well, you know what the city and what the Rochester has done here for the game and for its participants and for its team and everything else, I think it's a great plus. Would I like not to be their opening game? Yeah, I probably would. But, so be it. And it's good competition, and I think the fans will certainly be in for a good game.
Now, Coach, of course, as we talked about last week and many times before, this is 3 straight games for the Rhinos against you guys, the Virginia Beach Mariners, and you guys 3 of the next, going from last week, 3 of 4 against you guys. From what I read and what all implications and what I saw in the highlights, it seemed to be a pretty physical game last week. What are your thoughts about that?
I thought it was pretty physical. I thought it was pretty even. Actually, I thought it was a pretty good game at times. Both teams have some attacking personalities. Both teams like to keep people off the boards. I mean, there were chances on either end. So, I think if I was a fan in Virginia Beach, I got to be pretty excited because, it was a good game to watch. So, and once again, it boils down to hopefully familiarity doesn't breed contempt because you keep getting matched up against the same guys. I'm sure the tempered and the blood to boil a little bit, but hopefully everybody's there for the right reasons to play the game.
Now, this is a road game for you guys. What do you have to do differently to of course, get a better result? I mean, yes, a tie, you get 1 point, but you always want to get 3 points out of a game, right? So what do you have to do differently to win this game tomorrow?
Well, I thought in Virginia Beach, I thought we played pretty well at times. I thought we created a couple very good quality chances. Your goalkeeper came up big 2 or 3 times. I mean, I think, maybe a little bit better care of the ball from us in those situations. Maybe we could have nipped a goal here and there, but we didn't. But I was certainly pleased with the way we created some very good quality opportunities. So, and at the same time, we're going to have to battle not only the 11 players on the field, but we're also going to have to battle the 12th player, which is going to be, your fans and the enthusiasm that they create. So we've got a tough haul against us, but I certainly look forward to the challenge.
Now, Coach, of course, we talked a little bit about this last week. What are the chances of seeing Craig Devon and Paco Aguilera playing in the game tonight against the Rhinos?
Well, both of them are back. Both of them were included in the 18 last week. The starting lineup for tomorrow night has yet to be decided, but they're certainly both in the hunt, and they both bring quality to the game and bring a little bit different dimension. So we'll have to see as we get done training today and make our decisions accordingly.
Well, Coach Hoffman, thank you very much for joining us on the pregame show again. We look forward to speaking to you again next week before the Rhinos play you again.
This This is becoming an every week thing here, huh?
It's okay. I enjoy talking to you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. When we come back on the Rochester Raging Rhinos pregame show, we're going to go back to Paytech Park, speak again with Joe Giuliano. Some final thoughts on tonight's game. And then, folks, it's time. It's the home opener. The Rhinos and the Virginia Beach Mariners should be a great contact. Enjoy the game, and we will talk to you soon.
Welcome back to the Rochester Rhinos pregame show, sponsored by Perry's Ice Cream. I'm Joe Giuliano, getting ready for the Rhinos and the Virginia Beach Mariners, the grand opening, the big one. Paytech Park, finally a reality, and it is just a beautiful, beautiful venue. Again, a little rain tonight, but the stadium really packing them in tonight as the Rhinos opening up the 8th soccer-specific stadium in the U.S. Looking at some of the activities that we saw today at 5:45, there was a ribbon-cutting ceremony on Dedication Lane. That was at Gate D. Don Stevens hosting that event. And at 6 p.m., the gates open, and the Rhinos did something great. The players and the Rhinestones were there to greet the fans. And the on-field ceremonies will begin in about 5 minutes as both teams are making their way back to the locker rooms here in the rain, and some of the dignitaries and Rhinos ownership group heading towards midfield to get ready for the opening game ceremonies. So again, the Rhinos, Virginia Beach, opening up Paytech Park here. Don Stevens will have all the action in about 15 minutes from Paytech Park. Taking a look around the USL First Division, one game last night. Portland at Seattle, 0-0 draw there. Good news for the Rhinos. 4 games tonight, Vancouver at Minnesota, Charleston at Atlanta. Now Atlanta also opening up a soccer-specific stadium. It's going to be Silverbacks Stadium, capacity of 3,000. The stadium will expand to 5,000, then 7,500, and even possibly 15,000 if need be. So Atlanta also opening up a soccer-specific stadium this evening. And Seattle, again, at Portland. Those two teams, again, 0-0 yesterday. 2 games tomorrow, Puerto Rico at Montreal. Virginia Beach is at Toronto. Looking at standings in the USL First Division, the Rhinos at the top of the table with 17 points. Miami FC, the expansion club, with 12 points, tied with Vancouver for second place in the USL First Division. The Toronto Lynx, 0 points after 6 games played, no wins and 6 losses. They've scored 1 goal and given up 11. USL First Division Team of the Week, Scott Vallow and Scott Palguda, selected from the Rochester Raging Rhinos, and from Virginia Beach, Chris Schwartz, the defender, also selected after that 0-0 draw with the Rhinos last week in Virginia Beach. The qualification for the U.S. Open Cup for the second USL Second Division and USL PDL teams has concluded. For the Rhinos, they will join in the 3rd round with Atlanta, Portland, and Seattle. Their game should be sometime in mid-July. And the U.S. national team left for Germany on Thursday. They had 3 days off before leaving. They'll have a close scrimmage against Angola on Monday. Their World Cup opener is against the Czech Republic on Monday, June 12th in Gelsenkirchen. And one last note from the World Cup, the U.S. team, Tony Meola, the most decorated goalkeeper in U.S. history, was chosen as an alternate for the U.S. team. He'll be watching the games from New Jersey. If they need him to fly out to Germany, he'll be available for the U.S. national team. When we come back, I'll be joining Don Stevens with all the action tonight. It's the grand opening of Paytech Park. It's the Rochester Raging Rhinos and the Virginia Beach Mariners, Game 1, as history is made here in Rochester tonight. You're listening to the Rhinos Broadcast Network.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Paytech Park. It's actually a home game, if you can believe it, for the Rhinos, as tonight they take on the Virginia Beach Mariners here at new Paytech Park. And it is a little bit wet tonight. Actually, it's Rochester's liquid sunshine, and a great night it'll be as the fans are filing in. They have players, there's youngsters on the field, there's kids in a tunnel outside the Rhino Tunnel, the new Rhino Tunnel in place, the scoreboard overhead, the clouds overhead. Joe is here, and what else can you say?
Don, it's great to be working with you again. I listened to you for 7 straight games on the road. You did a great job, but it's great to be sitting next to you in this incredible, incredible venue. Just a dream come true.
Well, certainly, I'm very pleased to have you back again this year, and just as maybe even more pleased to be playing a home game finally. What a long drag it's been.
But you've got to give the team credit, give yourself credit. 5-0-2, very positive, incredible performance. 4-3, I would have been happy, but 5-0-2, it could not be a better setup for the grand opening of Paytech Park.
You know, something to me that is even maybe more amazing than the record of 5-0-2, unbeaten in those 7 games on the road. You go on the game for 7 games on the road and give up 1 goal.
You know, Coach Callaway talked about really bolstering this offense, playing some attacking soccer, but he didn't forget the boys in the back, and Scott Ballo with some newcomers, Kenny Burtz, Palguda moving to a central defensive position, Kraft. They have done a tremendous job defensively. They've continued to attack, and it's attacking with numbers. So Coach Callaway's defense starts up top by pressuring the other team.
Well, the stadium is officially opened. It opened at 6 o'clock with the ribbon-cutting ceremony across the way, and so reality is here. It is here, and Paytech Park and the new era for soccer in Rochester is underway. We can see across the way the downtown buildings, which I was kind of afraid that we were going to lose when moving out of Frontier Field, but the panorama of downtown buildings are there. And right now we're looking over top of the lights at Frontier Field. You can see those lights over there for a baseball game, which is going on here tonight. So there is a whole lot of people in downtown Rochester tonight.
It's a great sports venue, great facility at Frontier. But for soccer, this is what was needed in their city of Rochester. You've got the Stampede in the corner with the American flag jumping up and down. And I'm nervous for the players because of you. We are so close to the field tonight. They're going to hear you screaming and yelling from this spot. Yeah. This is an incredible location to broadcast a game from.
So you mean we better say good things?
Yeah, I think so, because we are very, very close to the benches and the field.
Well, certainly Joe and I always have the sweetest seats in the house, and that's no exception here. As tonight here we open up, and we're right at midfield, and we figure about 30 yards or so in back of the near touchline. But the thing is that everybody's has a sweet seat here at Paytech Park. How long is it going to take to get used to saying Paytech?
I was going to stay Frontier in the pregame show, but I got out Paytech just in time. But it's going to be something to get used to here. But I've been to Holland, Belgium, Germany, France, watching games, and these are the kind of venues that those fans are used to. This is only the 8th soccer-specific stadium in the country, and we're so lucky to have it here in Rochester. This is just amazing. We are spoiled fans, but we deserve it. Great place to watch a soccer game.
Now, I was most interested in seeing the quality of the scoreboard overhead, and I'm very impressed. The scoreboard, it's crystal clear picture. It's I don't know if you call it high definition or what you want to call it, but it certainly is a gorgeous picture on the big screen.
If you're used to the grainy, kind of cloudy picture of the old scoreboard at Frontier Field, this is like nothing in comparison to that. This is totally high-end. Daktronics has done an incredible job in putting this scoreboard 18 feet by 33 feet. I believe it's 95 feet up in the air, so perfect view for everyone in the stadium.
And once again, it about 10 feet high is what's considered to be a story. So if it's 92 or 94 feet high, that's over 9 stories high.
Just massive. You can see it from everywhere in the stadium and outside the stadium. And for those outside the stadium who didn't have a ticket tonight, take a look at that thing, because if you get a chance, get here, get a ticket for a match soon, because this is like no other soccer game you're going to see.
Well, to set the picture right now, the visiting Virginia Beach Mariners are lined up out at midfield. The officials are there also. There's a youth soccer team that's on the field. And overhead on the scoreboard, they're showing a little montage, a video of the construction of Paytech Park. They're going through all the steps from bare ground to now the girders being installed, and now the scoreboard is being installed, and music overhead. And so they're going through the whole thing and showing the folks just what happened here at Paytech to put this whole thing together.
You got to give Frank Duras credit, Chris Economidis, Steve Donner. About 8 years ago, the talk was about a soccer-specific stadium. So many hurdles, so many loopholes to get through, and they really just did an incredible job. Frank Duras never quit on this thing. He always wanted to make this a reality, and tonight it comes true. And Frank Duras deserves my standing ovation without a doubt.
And now they're showing some videos overhead of the games that have been played so far and on the road. And one thing we want to pass along tonight is hi to Soccer Sam, but unfortunately he couldn't be here. Family commitments. And some of the video that's being shown overhead is that what he has taken while he's been on the road with the team in that marathon trip from coast to coast back to the other coast again. So some of the video overhead was taken by Soccer Sam that's being shown right now here. And a great video it is. Some beautiful goals being scored. The Rhinos haven't scored a goal for a while right now, and you kind of wonder, well, actually, that was going to be one of the questions that I was going to talk to the coach about, but with all of the hoopla going on here, and everything's in a mishmash as far as getting things done, I never did get a chance to talk to the coach for the Zweigels coach's pregame comments, so I did ask him once before about what happened to the offense. Did it go south on us or what? And really, I think the team was just kind of holding on at the end. It was a long, grueling road trip, and the offense maybe wasn't there, but the defense certainly was.
I spoke to some defenders. Scott Palguda Kenny Burtz, they said the last 2 games, very fatiguing, very tired. The legs just weren't there. And, luckily for the Rhinos, they came away with 2 draws. It wasn't a loss. They're still undefeated, but now they've had a week off to stay in their own beds, to open up Paytech Park. I look for an explosive offensive performance tonight.
Now, you did talk about in the pregame that last night there was a scoreless tie in the league.
Portland and Seattle.
That's not unusual anymore. Do you know that of the last 6 games played in the league, 4 were scoreless ties? Of the last 9 games played in the league, 5 were scoreless ties.
Wow. What does that say?
That there's not much goal scoring right now.
A lot of teams, though, who are on the road, they want to sit back, they want to defend, and they're making it very difficult for the home team to open up. I think the dimensions of this field will help that. If Virginia Beach wants to come back and sit back defensively, 120 by 17 should open up some gaps. So I think a lot of the visiting teams are really concerned about packing it in, playing defensively, and get away with the 0-0 draw away from home.
All right, you're our expert. What do you think? Is this team built for this field, for this kind of a surface?
Absolutely, without a doubt. This is a younger, fitter, faster team. Coach Callaway loves to have his outside fullbacks, whether it's Palguda, Frankie Sanfilippo, get involved in the attack. At Frontier Field, it was so crowded and so limited you couldn't find any space. Now, you've got 77 yards on the width here. That is very, very fine-tuned for this team.
Well, the Rochester players are being introduced, and in fact, a great gesture. All of the players, whether they're playing, whether they're dressed, whether they're substitutes, whatever it is tonight, the entire roster is being introduced here for this opener at Paytech Park. And it is still a rainy night. We see a lot of yellow raincoats out here tonight now, and rain gear. One other thing is there's no umbrellas. No umbrellas. The umbrellas are not allowed in the stands, and for those that might think, oh, that's not very good, it is very common. Most stadiums don't allow the umbrellas.
You're talking about obstructing someone's view.
Or poking an eye out.
Poking an eye, and then, if things do get violent or something gets out of hand, that can be considered a weapon. But I think for the sight lines here, you don't want anything blocking your view. It's just such a beautiful sight.
Well, certainly the fans, Joe, are going to be very interested in seeing their new team. They haven't seen so many of these players before this.
The only thing we could all do is listen to your broadcast, and you made it so exciting that I think you helped sell 3,000 or 4,000 tickets yourself, because those road games sounded like this is a team that's clicking early and often, and now they've just got to continue that kind of pace at home here to open up this beautiful park.
Well, the Rhinos are playing the Virginia Beach Mariners 3 straight games, 3 games in a row. Last weekend at Virginia Beach, the Sportsplex, which in itself is a gorgeous soccer-specific stadium. And then here against Virginia Beach next Friday at Virginia Beach once again. Now, the Mariners do have a game added in, as they'll be playing in Toronto tomorrow, I believe. They play at Toronto tomorrow, so they're playing Rochester in 3 of the 4 games. And these teams will get to know each other very well over the course of these few days.
By the second half and by the game next week, it'll be just a matter of execution. There's only so many things you can pull out of the bags. They've seen each other. They know what to expect. It'll just be a matter of execution, who makes the mistake, and who makes the other team pay for it.
Well, it is a sold-out house. The stadium was sold out as of yesterday here at Frontier Field. And there are seats that are across the way and empty. There are seats around, but the fans continue to file in. And as I look down at the ends, I see folks still coming in. It's going to take a while, I think, until everybody figures out exactly where they're going to park and how they're going to get into the stadium. There might be a few latecomers.
There's been some complaints, too, about where you're going to park. Don't worry about that stuff, because once you get in here, you're going to forget about all that, because this is just the way to watch a soccer game. You're used to that Frontier Field setup. No comparison. Get your car parked, get into the stadium, and just enjoy a wonderful, wonderful evening of soccer.
And also, as we've mentioned along the way, that people that have season tickets, or their club, they have club seats, or they have some kind of a ticket package, they are being taken care of very well as far as parking is concerned. So if you're wanting to improve your status as far as parking is concerned, then check out maybe a ticket package. Besides, you save yourself money when you buy it by the package instead of the individual game ticket. You save a lot of bucks.
Yeah, well worth it. And then once they get the buzz about what's happening here tonight, you're going to want to be a part of it, because, again, I'm excited as a commentator and as a fan of the game.
All right, all the players, the coaches have now been introduced. And it was good to see some of the old-timers around. There's Billy Andracki, who's still working with the goalkeepers for the Rhinos. I did see Lennon Steenkamp is in attendance here tonight, and saw him a little bit before the game. So good to see some of the fans. And also the faces that we haven't seen since last summer are around. And that's always very nice to see those folks, too. All right, so tonight we're about to get underway with the first game ever at Paytech Park here in Rochester, a home game, game number 8 for the Rhinos. Stick with us. This is the Rhinos Broadcast Network. Yeah, one of the military bands in attendance for the national anthem here tonight at Paytech Park. And the...
direct your attention to midfield for our ceremonial kickoff.
All right, ceremonial kickoff. We're not really sure exactly what all is going on as far as the pregame festivities are concerned.
Please welcome representing Governor Pataki, Jack Kittercutt, State Senator Michael Mazzolio, State Senator Jim Alisi, State Senator Joe Robach, Assemblyman David Kuhn.
Well, many of the dignitaries being introduced here at Paytech Park, and most of them have been in one way or another involved with the acquiring of the funds to pay for this great facility. And certainly there's so many thanks that go out to all the politicians, all of the officials that have been involved with putting this whole thing together. You know, it just wasn't Frank and Steve and Chris that did all of this. I mean, there was hundreds of people that were involved in putting this whole thing together.
This is a $40 million venture. It definitely takes more than one person. I mean, the catalyst obviously was Frank Duras, but to get all the politicians and the right people on board, definitely a major feat. And thank you to the Mazzolios and Jim Alessi and Joe Robach for all their support, making this just an incredible event for the city.
Well, we just had about 35 ceremonial first kicks all at one time out on the field, and now each player has a ball that they're kicking up into the stands for the fans, and so there will be quite a few folks, about at least 28 or so, that are going to be going home with a souvenir soccer ball. And a great gesture, and I think a lot of the fans are going to be very happy to receive those soccer balls and the rest of the festivities. And now I'm not sure about, I think there was supposed to be, I'm not mistaken, I think there was supposed to be a flag being brought in by a skydiver, but I don't know that they were able to do that because of the low cloud cover tonight. I'm not sure if that's happening. I don't see anybody clearing space for any kind of a skydiver to come in, so I don't think that was able to happen.
And the wind, it'll be a very tricky landing, to say the least.
Well, the Rhinos have a couple of players that they'll be facing tonight. They're not in the starting lineup, but could possibly see former Rhino Craig Demon, of course, MVP defender for the Rhinos several times over, and then Panto Aguilara is also dressed. He is a substitute and the former Rhino who is leading the Virginia Beach Mariners, and that's the big guy up front, Greg Simmons. And he has shown his presence so far. He's had a good start.
He sure has. He's a streaky forward, though. He's known to score goals in bunches. He's either hot or he's really cold, and the Rhinos, unfortunately, are catching him at a rather hot point in his season. We'll see what he comes up with tonight.
Well, let's check the lineups. First of all, for the visiting Mariners. In goal is Matt Nelson. The defensive row will include Chris Swartz. It's Steve Dambuski, Adam Woods, and Tim O'Neill. And through the midfield, Scott Billick, Steve Shack, Capano Lowe, and Ryan Mack. And then up front, Jacob Finger and Greg Simmons. For the Rhinos starting out, Scott Vallow in goal. And he comes in with a 5-0-2 record, a very impressive 0.14 goals against average. Through the defense, we'll see Frankie Sanfilippo, Kenny Burch, Jason Perry, and Scott Palguda. We've had that combination before. In the midfield, John Ball. Janino is back after missing the last 2 games with an injury. Johnny Mentongar is in the midfield along with Johnny Steele. And then up front, well, we've got some shifting around going on. Greg Howes and Matt Delicott. Johnny Steele, by the way, seeing his first action of the season. He was a latecomer because of indoor soccer and then had to go through paperwork, and that one took a little while. But Steele is in the lineup. Howes, they're saying on the sheet that I've been giving, the roster sheet, that he's at forward, and I think actually it's probably Johnny Mentongar that's at forward and Howes in the midfield.
Yeah, Howes will definitely drop back to a defensive midfield. Looks like Janino is going to play as a center midi. So Janino, Johnny Steele, Coach Callaway definitely going with the attacking presence. John Steele can attack, but we'll see how he defends tonight. Virginia Beach may want to look to attack that side of the field if Steele gets caught up too deep.
Well, the Rhinos will be shooting at the net to our left, and Scott Vallow in goal down to our right. The Rhinos wearing the black and white stripes tonight, and the visiting Mariners are all in the dark blue as we're about to get underway in the first ever game at Paytech Park, and we welcome you to the inaugural evening here at Paytech Park. A kickoff to be taken by the Mariners. Simmons and Finger waiting for the whistle to start action. And we'll be getting underway. I'm Don Stevens along with Joe Giuliano, and glad to have you with us. We're underway now. First ever game here at Paytech Park. And the ball out of midfield. Janino knocks it loose, and feet ahead to Steele. Chips it off in the middle for John Ball. Goes long to the left wing side, slots it through, where it's chased back and driven away out to near midfield. Knocked down again by Steele as he's bumped and the ball up in the air, cleared off on the far wing. In underneath it, Sanfilippo heads it forward to Mentongar. Turning it off on the right wing side, spinning around 30 yards out. Mentongar still with it, plays it on top, and that's intercepted and carried away by the Mariners. Pass to Fenger in the center circle. Long on the left wing side, Simmons after the ball, but it skips along the touchline, and it is out of bounds. So it'll be a throw-in for the Rhinos from around their own 30 on the far side of the field.
Certain parts of the field, just on the right side of midfield here to our right, slowing the ball down. You can see the water trickling up, so it's been a steady downpour here. But also, if the ball gets in there, look for some nasty skips or bounces off of the surface.
Perry to take the throw in off the right wing side. A high floater out to the midfield line, flicked across midfield. As it's picked up by the Mariners, blocked the side of the center circle, and driven up the right wing into Rhino territory. From 35 yards out, Simmons with a back heel, but didn't get much on it, knocked it down, and taken away by the Rhinos. Steele ahead, center circle, Janino chipping it forward for Delicott. Turns it to the outside on the near wing, and Steele up the left wing. He'll send it down inside the 18, Mentongar moving in, left foot kick. Goal! Wait a minute, offside flag! Offside flag! Oh, man. So the first goal scored by the Rhinos is not.
Great ball from John Steele on the left flank. Everyone thought he was going to swing it wide to John Ball, who was open on the far side. But it went inside to Mentongar, just a step behind the defense.
So played downfield, and certainly the fans thought they had something there, but no go. As the ball is down into Rhino territory, blocked away on the far side, and that rolls out of bounds off the Rhinos, so it'll be a throw-in across the way for the Mariners from 20 yards out. Throw in around the 25, picked up there by Shack. He'll look for the cross down inside the 18, flicked and out over the end line, and a corner kick coming up here for the Mariners. First corner of the match.
Great vision there from Johnny Steele. His first action of the season there to pick out Mentongar. Everyone thought he was going to go long with the swing to Johnny Ball, but Steele with nice vision there, picking out Mentongar. And the Rhinos early on finding some gaps here in the Virginia Beach defense.
The corner off the right wing side for the Mariners. As taking his time moving over to the corner, trying to pick up the number. It looks like that is Lowe, Capano Lowe. It's a left-footed kicker, so an in-swinging kick as he gets to set to serve it up. All right, here comes the ball off the left foot. High, down inside the 6, headed away and out by Delicott. Then a shot at crack with the left foot, but put it up over top of the crossbar. A downward swinging kick, but that was a little bit too much underneath it.
He had a good look at the goal, time to set up. Just no contact on the ball. And Vallow, really the players for the Rhinos and for Virginia Beach have to get used to this setting. The fans are on top of the field. You can see before the game the Rhino players gesturing to talk to each other. This is going to be a very loud, difficult environment.
Vallow with the right foot drives it out, coming down about the midfield line. Flicked across midfield by Howes. Bouncing loose again to the midfield line. Howes after it. Comes away and up the right side. Long service ahead, but that's knocked down and taken away by the Mariners. Here's a high pass downfield, but Birch is back to head of the side. Alguda will chase it out on the near wing. Being chased there by Fenger. Alguda with the left foot. Out to midfield for Janino as he's tackled. A ball played ahead by Howes out to the midfield line, and Delicott turns it up the left wing. Steers it to the outside for Johnny Steele. Drops it back near midfield, and stepping up on the play is Palguda. Along the left wing once again for Steele as he's triple teamed, and the ball now taken away by the Mariners. Spun off by Schwartz into the middle, but recovered by Janino. Pass in the middle, but taken right back again by the Mariners. Fenger feed into the center circle and running onto the ball comes Mack. Sends it to the outside on the left wing. Slide tackle on the ball, but that's pulled away from Sanfilippo. Another slide in on the ball, and that's taken away by the Rhinos. Pass out the midfield and up the wing. Here comes Janino to the outside. Ball running onto the ball. Down to the 25, to the outside. Here's a cross. Down along the 6. In front, Steele up, but it just flighted over top of his head. Rolls away and out of bounds on the near side. That's not Steele, that's Delicott.
That's a great counterattack by the Rhinos, led by the slide tackle of Sanfilippo and Janino, springing John Ball on that right flank. So good slide tackle, great surface, nice and wet to get that slide tackle in.
Throw in off the left wing side. They take it by Schwartz. Long, high throw in out near midfield. Headed right back into play by Birch. Delicott pushing it into the middle. That's Howes. Pass along the 35 in the middle for Ball. Turns to his left. Double team. It gets away with the ball. Goes to the outside again. Along the left wing for Steele. Looking at the middle. He's 25 yards out and rolls it deep to the corner. Has a slide tackle and going down is Palkuda. Tripped up, taken down, and the foul is called. No, it was not a foul. It was off of Palkuda, not over the end line, so it'll be a goal kick for the Virginia Beach Mariners. And the rain's starting to come down a little bit again.
It's been steady. I think the official thought Palkuda may have pushed it too far. There was contact, but the ball was over the end line at that time. But Palkuda, Johnny Steele, good connection early on with the overlapping by Scott Palkuda.
Nelson taking his time. The keeper for the Mariners takes his time placing the ball. Now he's going to go back, get a towel, wipe his hands off, and
is it road tactics? You wonder why there's so many 0-0 games. You're seeing why.
That's exactly why. Cross midfield into the center circle. Delicott chips it up the left wing for Mentongar. Turns it to the outside. Spins back toward the middle. 20 yards out. Now they roll it deep to the corner. Here's a cross along the 6 in front, but intercepted and carried away by the Mariners. Feed upfield, spinning around Gbeke. Drops it off into the middle as it's played ahead and carried forward by the Mariners. Into the center circle. Turning up the left wing side as O'Neill goes to the outside or make that Mack off in the far wing. And a kick down in front, scoots off the 6 in on goal and grabbed there by Vallow and holds on as he'll run the players away.
Several sections of the stadium.
No score in the game, 7th minute here.
We're starting to get some parts of the power back, and we'll see if we can get operating here for just a moment. Joe, maybe you can, while I set this up, you can talk for a second.
Scott Vallow just made an incredible save on a volley by Fanger. Now the Rhinos coming down the right flank on a counterattack. Virginia Beach with plenty of numbers back here. But Vallow made a great save shot for it. Here's Cupano low on the far side. 1v1 corner of the 18 looking for Fanger. Inside the 18, hard-driven cross across the goal mouth. No one there. Vallow lets it run through. Johnny Steele on the near side now.
All right, I think we're on live now. Well, this is a lot of fun. We're having a grand time here. The rain is coming down, the wind is blowing, and the power is going off and on. The scoreboard just went out again, and there it's back on, but the lights overhead are still off, although it's still plenty bright enough to be able to see and play. We have not had any scoring. We're in the 10th minute now, and I'm not sure across the way just how much of the area has been affected by the power.
Talk about a night to remember. Grand opening, the power goes out, but it is light enough to continue playing, so no stopping the flow.
And the ball played out around the 25 and in the middle, pushed back and drawn away by Lowe. He takes a shot with the left foot, scooped up, blocked away by Vallow, off the 2 and pushed out on the far side, through the far end of the 18. That'll be carried away and brought upfield now by the Rhinos. Sanfilippo out into the center circle. Bouncing ball is knocked down, and that's pushed aside by Schwartz. Rolls it along the midfield line and onto the near side. Off the right wing, brought forward by O'Neill. Turns back toward the middle. O'Neill takes a look around. He'll drop it off along the 35 for Gbeke. As he turns with the right foot, fakes a shot into the middle for Shack. Goes to the outside on the left flank. That's still controlled by the Mariners as they're playing a little bit of keep away at the moment. Drawn along the 18. Chipped down inside for Simmons. Back heel pass on the return. And is taken away by Perry. Rhinos push it to the outside, and away with it comes John Ball. Off the right flank. Now the 11th minute. No score here at Paytech Park. As the ball pushed across midfield. Up in the air, knocked down again, and controlled by the Rhinos. Howe spinning back, but he's taken down. And the ball brought away by the Mariners. Into the middle. Drawn off. Dropped back once again into the center circle. Gbeke moving up. Yeah, bring it forward for the Mariners. Chasing behind by Mentongar. And a pass into the middle, but stepping in to take it away is Palkuda. Rhinos right now a little bit on their heels here, Joe.
Yeah, I think a little nervous. Some butterflies. They've got to get the kinks worked out here. A little, maybe too excited, making some passes we normally don't see from the team.
And in the middle, turn to the outside once again. It's controlled by the Mariners along the near touchline with the right foot. Long delivery downfield. Underneath it, headed aside by Birch, but stepping in is O'Neill, bringing him forward for the Mariners. Sliding in to block it away momentarily was Howes, and it rolls off on the far side. Low for the Mariners, ahead for Finger. At the far end of the 18, across along the 6, rolling ball. It'll come along and scooped up there by Vallow and holds on.
It's really just a matter of out-hustled right now. Virginia Beach out-hustling the Rhinos to some of these balls.
Right now, the Mariners have 3 shots. The Rhinos have not had a shot. As once again, the continues to go on and off, so whenever it goes off. Unfortunately, we'll just wait until the power comes back on and reestablish contact with you. So bear with us as best you can. So this is a real fun evening here at Paytech Park. There's still no score. We're in the 15th minute, but the Mariners continue to pressure the Rhinos and had a great opportunity with a free kick from about 25 yards out, Joe.
Yeah, the Mariners are just controlling the midfield. The Rhinos playing a little bit too slow in the midfield with the ball.
Got forward by the Rhinos. Mentongar tripped up. It comes back to Palguda. Played up the left wing side and Steele ahead. Down to the 20, trying to work in the middle, but that's then picked off his foot and carried away by the Mariners. Virginia Beach with the service downfield. Burt's getting back to pop that one up in the air. Trying to get in underneath it. Blocks it forward across the midfield line. Taken right back and recovered by Steele. The Rhinos have it. At midfield, Burt's along the left wing. Blocked away and controlled once again by the Mariners. O'Neal, long service up the right side. Simmons in underneath it. Stops it with the right toe. Turns in. He's run over by Burt's and a foul is called in that collision. Both, actually Burt's coming out the worst for that one. Gets up and sort of hobbles away a little bit.
Yeah, Burt's had to take down Simmons there. Greg Simmons, a nifty little cutback move inside. Burt's rushing in full steam, just pushes the ball to one side. Burt's had to get the big forward down to the turf where he's going towards goal.
Well, a free kick for the Mariners off the right wing side. As Lowe will take the kick. This is 25 yards out off the right wing. And the Mariners want the two-man wall for the Rhinos backed up a little bit, and they'll get their wishes. 17th minute from Paytech Park. Here's the service down inside. Bouncing ball. It's out over the end line about 5 feet wide of the far post. So it's a goal kick for the Rhinos.
That's a dangerous swerving ball in there from Lowe. It's been a battle on that far side with Lowe and John Ball. Both of them want to attack. We'll see who gives up their defensive responsibility first. I think Lowe or John Ball could be a factor in the first goal of the game tonight.
17th minute, no score. It's a goal kick for Scott Vallow.
Coach Keller, I like what he's doing now. Now he's playing with three in the back. He's got to bolster some numbers in the midfield. That's where Rochester's been losing the battle. Burt's moves out to the right side. Perry central and Palguda on the left.
I need windshield wipers for my glasses. Played through midfield. That's headed up in the air, knocked down, and here's a high crack of the ball. Coming down a couple of feet wide of the right post. That shot a long one by Sanfilippo. Just missing the right post, and so it's a goal kick the other way. Sponsors of these broadcasts include the Messenger Post. Stay posted. Call 442-POST for subscription information. By Power Trip. Taste the power. By Marina Dodge at 943 Ridge Road in Webster. All of those are sponsors of these broadcasts all season long.
7250.
Goal kick from Nelson.
The Mariners playing with three in the back, 5 in the midfield, so Coach Callaway counters that by bringing up Sanfilippo.
Out across midfield, out of bounds on the near side to throw in for the Mariners. And the throw in. Well, that's a convenient spot as Schwarz over to talk to the coach. The throw in from right in front of the bench. Long along the near side, headed away by Palguda to midfield. And out to the midfield line. Delicott steps in, gets tripped up, but comes away with the ball. It's pushed across midfield by Howes, then bouncing away back to Perry and off on the near side. Feed by Steele in front. Delicott tried to get away, but in a collision with Shack. Now a feed up the right side, and Perry and Simmons on their horses racing for the ball to the end line. Simmons with a cross, but is blocked out over the end line. And a corner kick for the Mariners.
I tell you, Greg Simmons has found his desire to play the game again. There was a time there when you wondered if Simmons was going to find that spark again, and he's running much more than we've seen him in the past. He's been a key factor here tonight for the Mariners.
Well, I remember saying after that game in Virginia Beach the other night, saying to the coaches that I thought that was the best game I've ever seen Greg Simmons play.
He's a different player. You can just see it in his pace on the field.
So a corner kick off the right wing side, left footed in swinging kick, low in the box, headed away and up top. And it comes down around the 15, headed toward the net, and it's now grabbed. There's a foul call. There was an offside.
There was a little contact in the box by the Mariners, so it'll be a free kick coming out for Rochester.
All right. Scott Vallow will place the ball. We're in the 19th minute. Still no score here at Paytech Park. Right now, the Mariners, according to the score clock, leading in shots 5-0. How's that scoreboard, huh?
Yeah, beautiful. Look at the screen. And look at the picture of the field.
Corner kicks, fouls, all of that on the score clock.
Just gorgeous.
A beautiful picture overhead.
Shot of Scott Vallow on the video scoreboard, and he's been much busier than I'm sure he would like to be tonight. He had some big saves. One that took a skip in front of him, just got his chest behind it.
Vallow with the right foot. Low line drive kick downfield. Delicata flick on, trying to sneak it through, but then it's pushed away from Mentongar, coming out to midfield again. Falguda nods it forward. That's knocked down by Schwartz on the near side. Slipped across midfield, and underneath it, Perry falls. Comes down, actually fell on it with the right hand. Left hand and on the ball. He's going to get a card.
That's a bad card. That's not a yellow card.
Well, he stumbled. He went down, and he came down with his left hand on the ball, and Perry gets the yellow card here in the 20th minute.
The referee saw it. He didn't call it. The referee's assistant rightfully raised his flag in the air. It was a slip. No intention to play the ball with his hand. That's a bad yellow card for Jason Perry.
So it's a free kick.
Rochester's number 12.
Free kick off the right wing side, about 40 yards out. And while we have a moment, let's pause for station identification. This is the Rhinos Broadcast Network. That's headed down inside the 18, headed away and out, and then cleared downfield across the midfield line. He's back by the Mariners and played all the way back to the keeper. Nelson along his 18. Nelson's gone the distance thus far in goal for Virginia Beach. Low kick through midfield. Up is Sanfilippo, heads it into the center circle for Greg Howes. He'll drop it to the outside of the near wing. Falguda pushes it ahead, but that's intercepted by the Mariners at the midfield line. Shack with a pass. Taken right back by Janino, and the Rhinos have it in the center circle. Janino trying to slot it through. Now passes off on the left wing side to Steele. He'll turn and nowhere to go, so drops it back. Moving up across midfield is Falguda. In the middle for Janino. Step over on the ball, into the middle, along the 35 for House. His chip down inside the 18, but that's headed away out top. Janino in underneath it, blocks it aside, and after the ball, over the whistle to stop play, and it's a foul on the Mariners. Referee says no, the kick. Oh, wait a minute. The Mariners got very upset, so he changed his mind.
Yeah,
we'll go the other way. Okay.
I was going to say, if the Rhinos got that call, they caught a huge break because Janino, clearly with the ball not at his feet, charging into the Virginia Beach defender. Referee made the right call eventually.
All right, so it's a kick the other way. No score, 22nd minute here at Paytech Park.
And the Rhinos are really under a lot of pressure here for the grand opening of Paytech Park. Not the way they wanted to start this.
Kick through midfield by Nelson. Off of the near wing, Falguda with a head ball, but that's out of bounds on the near side. And off of the Mariners, so it'll be a throw-in on the near side for the Rhinos from their own 25.
Just a 50-50 challenger. Scott Falguda looks much more fit than he did last year, knocking O'Neill off the ball.
Head up over across midfield. Comes down to the midfield line. Steele with it. Along to the left wing side, but he's bumped from behind. Foul is called and a restart at the midfield line for the Rhinos.
I think Steele got a little bit of a break there getting the call. Again, he's a little too slow to get up and give away the ball there. That time Mack got the contact in from behind, but I think Steele hanging on to the ball a bit too long.
All right, Falguda drops it back at the midfield line. Played back on the near side again for Falguda. He'll chip it ahead, coming down around the 20. Up they go, trying to flick it forward. Woods up, and that one headed aside, stepping in. The Rhinos in underneath the ball, but pushed aside out the far wing and played out to near midfield. Into Rhino territory, turning back for it. Burts drops it back to the keeper. Vallow will first time it away from his 18. Out to the midfield line, checking back his ball. Drives it off on the far side, and the Rhinos up with the ball again. A head brought forward by Sanfilippo, but the whistle to stop play. A foul is called, evidently, on the Mariners, and a restart for the Rhinos.
That's a tough one for the Rhinos to take. They had the advantage. They wanted to continue with the flow.
So they restart to the far end of the 18. That one scooted away. And off at the corner, Woods after it. Ball on him, knocked out over the end line. And it'll be a goal kick for the Mariners. Other sponsors of these broadcasts tonight include the Personal Health Approach, Rochester's upscale health club at 3450 Winton Place. Call 232-8888. By Moliere Chevrolet Buick, West Main Street in Honeyway Falls, or online at Moliere.com. And by Perry's Ice Cream. Life's a bowl of Perry's. Now we do have the stadium lights on once again.
So Billick is coming off. He may be cut. Trainer's also up off the bench.
All right, so at the moment, the Mariners a man down.
He's got some gauze on his nose. May have a bloody nose.
Low kick from Nelson out to the midfield line, headed forward by Sanfilippo, but bouncing away, and the Mariners take it again. Feed to Simmons up in the air, heads it along on the near side. In underneath it, Steele colliding there with O'Neill. They were teammates at Syracuse. Drawn off on the near side, knocked down by De Silva. As Janino sends it downfield, Mentongar in underneath it, near into the 18. Drawing it off on the left wing side into the corner. Still spinning around is Mentongar. His pass in front, but blocked away out over the end line, and this will be a corner kick for the Rhinos.
Give Johnny Mentongar a lot of credit there. Juninho finally playing a quick ball from midfield. Mentongar's got 3 players around him. Not the biggest, 5'4", but he's able to fight off the players, win the corner kick for the Rhinos.
It'll be Juninho for the corner kick. A short one. Quick restart. Mentongar turns it to the outside. Juninho from 18. Long cross to the back post. Up they go, and the ball knocked down. The left-footed kick across the 6. That's booted away, but not too far ahead. Now sliding in underneath it. It's kicked away on the near side and out of harm's way. Well, the Rhinos had an opportunity, but Nelson got a hand on it.
And give Nelson credit because he's got to work through the big body of Matthew Delicott to get to the ball.
Here's the throw in along the near side. Turn to the outside again. Off in the corner. Steele after it. Injured player down on the field. Now his cross down in front, but that's knocked away on top. Howes with the right foot. Takes a crack at it, and it dips, but over top of the crossbar. And so the Rhinos miss a couple of feet high, and one of the Virginia Beach players slow to get up. Referee over taking a look. And is that
it's O'Neal.
Might be O'Neal. Yes, it is O'Neal. As he'll hobble away, his right foot bothering him. But he's all right. He'll stay.
On that last throw, I'm surprised Kenny Burt's didn't come up. It was about 6 yards out. And in the wet conditions, he has got a bomb of a throw. And surprised he didn't come up and give it a go.
Well, finally, the Rhinos get a couple of shots away. So right now, according to the score clock, it's 5 shots for the Mariners and 2 for the Rhinos.
And I think slotting Sanfilippo up to more of a midfield position really is helping balance things out. That's where the game was being lost for the Rhinos. Coach Callaway reads the game, obviously, to a very high level, able to see that.
Well, the referee still is talking to players. Now he signals to the goalkeeper, Nelson, to go ahead. As back on the pitch is O'Neal. Right foot from Nelson. Lights it through midfield into Rhino territory. Big bounce on the ball. Back heel by Steele, but that got away. Rolls to the end line, and Perry after it will boot it with the left foot out of play.
Out of the stadium. Out of play and out of the stadium by Jason Perry.
27th minute and no score. Here at Paytech Park. Throw in off the right wing side by O'Neal of the Mariners. Still looking toward the front. Now plays it out top where it's knocked down. Pushed to the outside again. A feed along the 18. Blocked away by Howes and brought out the near side. A pass ahead. Ball checking back with the ball on the left foot. Sends it out on the near side. Mentongar in a collision. That rolls to the near touchline. Blocked in. Kicked up the near wing. However, the ball is still in play. Rolling to the end line. And it's out over the end line, creating the goal kick for the Rhinos. 28th minute now, and still no score at Paytech Park.
Great athletic ability by Tim O'Neal, who played for Coach Callaway in Syracuse in 2004. And thought for a second that ball was going to die on the wet surface. Continues to roll out, so goal kick coming up for Vallow.
3 players on this team played for Coach Callaway in Syracuse. You got O'Neal, you got Ryan Mack, and you got, I think it was Capano Lowe was the other one. And, of course, Johnny Steele was there, and let's see, Perry. And, so the whole Syracuse team is out here right now.
Frankie Sanfilippo.
Yeah, out to the center circle. Knotted back by Juninho, but having to hustle back for the ball is Sanfilippo. At the far corner of the 18, out to scoop it up is Vallow, and the Rhino keeper has the ball. He'll throw it off on the near side. 28th minute, no score at Paytech. Left foot, chip across midfield by Pelguda. As pushed from behind was Delicott. The foul is called on Danbuski. Here's the service and a quick restart for the Rhinos up the left side. Steele down at the 18. Here's a cross down along the 6. In front, but Woods there to boot it away and up into the stands. It'll be a corner for the Rhinos.
That's a good ball from Johnny Steele. It's swerving away from the keeper. It's going to take a bounce before it gets to the defender, and Alan Woods has just got to clear it away. Very awkward off the knee, but a good, dangerous ball by Johnny Steele.
We'll see if Juninho actually puts it in the box this time. Yes, he does. With the right foot, goes for the back post. In they go for a head ball. It comes out the near side again, and rolling out over the end line, and this time it's off the Rhinos, so it'll be a goal kick for the Mariners. Goal kick coming up for Virginia Beach. No score. We're in the 29th minute. Sponsors of these broadcasts include Connolly Printing, the official printer for the Rhinos. Call 426-4150. By Hero East Athletic Club on the web at heroeast.com. And by Health Source Chiropractic. Patients now being accepted at the Canal Park Medical Complex. Call 225-6430.
Kenny Burt's getting up into the attack on that last corner kick by Juninho. He's got a nice contact on the ball, just not aiming it towards goal. But again, some huge targets in Delicott, Perry, Pelguda, and Kenny Burt's for the corners.
On kick through midfield. That's headed in the air by Palguda. Off on the near side, Simmons trying to draw it forward, but blocked, knocked down. However, it's touched by the hand of Steele, so the whistle will stop play, and it'll be a restart for the Mariners. And everybody walks away, leaves the ball sitting there. Coming over to take it is Dambusky.
Very vocal, very verbal referee. He's given his 2 cents to everyone tonight who's not following his tight rule.
You know, I would give you his name, but I never received the names of the officials. So, can't do that. My apologies as the ball is kicked high in the air by Perry out on the far side, in underneath of Mentongar. That's knocked down and carried ahead, but stolen away by the Mariners. However, as play goes, a foul was called. The Virginia Beach player didn't want to give up the ball. The referee took it away from him.
And going to get Janino some more touches, some more action on the ball. Greg House. They've got to start spraying this thing around, opening up some spaces for the forwards. The creators have not been creative so far for the Rhinos.
Speaking of spray, you don't think there's enough spray?
Well, spray the ball. It's different than the spray coming out of the sky.
Downfield, flick on down inside, moving up the near wing. Here's Steele moving it up for the kick, kicked away off the left foot of Nelson. Steele had a great look, and Nelson got the left foot on it. Great save, and the ball now cleared through midfield. That certainly is the best opportunity of the night for the Rhinos.
Delicate with the great flick. 2 guys all over his back, freeing up Johnny Steele.
That pass the other way, then Rhino territory, but that's booted away by Palguda off on the far side and out. So the Rhinos with another shot and a save there by Nelson.
And that ball on the turf's getting real fast, kind of getting away from Johnny Steele, making the angle tougher and tougher before he struck the ball.
Well, the teams ended up even in shots last time they met, 11 apiece. Now it's stolen away by Steele. Here he comes up the left flank and across midfield, pushed the ball too far ahead, and Shack is back to take it away. As he sneaks it through along the midfield line into Rhino territory, Schwartz long to the open right wing side, and running onto the ball is Perry for the Rhinos. After it, Palguda pass toward the middle. House tummies it through, and he sent Ryan Mack spinning the other way. Out of midfield. One touch on it. Ball sends it off on the far wing, and Sanfilippo moves up at midfield. Across the midfield line. Dummy through by Delicate. Turned to the outside, and Sanfilippo getting to it at the far touch line. Up the right wing from 18. A long cross down in front, but booted away. Shanked off the foot of Dan Busky out top. As Ed is knocked aside momentarily by Howes, but recovered again by the Mariners. Bellick from his 35 tries the right wing side to Simmons at midfield. Turns it across the midfield line as one-on-one with Janino. Pass in the center circle. Mack is taken away by Howes to the midfield line. Chips it through. Trying to sneak it ahead from Mentongar, but headed aside by Dambusky and pushed out of the near wing. Steele knocks down his man, and so a foul is called. And it'll be a restart for the Mariners from their own 40.
Johnny Steele, you can see he's working off some of the rust. His touch a little too far in front of him. He's a little behind the play. But still, he's getting some chances. Once he gets that game sharpness back, I think he's going to be a huge factor down the left flank.
Well, certainly it was a surprise here tonight. He has not played all year long and inserted into the starting lineup in this game. Had a lot of people questioning the coach's movement on that one.
Well, if he scored that goal, it'd be wonderful.
Yeah, here's a chip toward the net. Wide left out over the end line. It'll be a goal kick for the Rhinos. 33rd minute. And the Rhinos in their inaugural game here at Paytech Park scoreless with the Mariners. It's been a long time since the Rhinos scored a goal. It was back in Portland, I believe it was. 1-0 win in Portland. Did not score at Vancouver, did not score at Virginia Beach.
That's fatigue on the road, but they've got to have a little extra in the tank tonight.
Headed to the outside by Delicate. Drop back at midfield for Janino. Rolls it to the outside and up the left wing, Palguda. Down to the 30, Steele trying to get away as he grabs onto Schwartz, but the ball recovered by the Mariners. On the near side, that's hammered out the midfield, stepping in Janino. Pops it in the air with his right foot. Steele after it as he's grabbed onto. No play. No foul is called, and the ball then slips through midfield. Burr stepping in underneath it. Birds for the Rhinos. Has deflected aside and chased down there. The Rhinos have it. Sanfilippo. Now another Virginia Beach player on the pitch in the center circle. Brought upfield by Sanfilippo down to the 35. As he works toward the 30, goes to the outside for ball. Has it down to the 18. They can go look for the cross down along the 6, but into the midsection of the keeper, and he'll just throw it up into the stands. Nelson throws it away and out of bounds. Is still down on the field. Out at midfield. Is that O'Neill again?
It's Fenger.
Okay, Jacob Fenger.
And you want to be sportsmanlike, but Fenger's fine now. He's up on. I like the fact that the Rhinos continued to play. They didn't knock it out of bounds. Fenger is fine. The Rhinos continue to play. Sometimes the tactics are just a little old, especially on the road. Fenger's going to be fine. That's definitely a time delay tactic by the Mariners.
He's up and walks away just fine, yeah.
And I guarantee the next time there's some contact, Fenger will not go down because he knows the Rhinos will continue to play.
Right ahead now by the Mariners on the restart. Drop back to their own 20. Dan Buskey being chased there by Delicott, and he drops it back to the keeper. Nelson has to play with the right foot, sends it out toward midfield, stepping in underneath the steal, pops that one high in the air off of the near side, and it's out of bounds into the stands. 35th minute from Paytech Park, and no score. Well, you know what? I see across the way that Frontier Field, the lights are out, so either they've lost the power or their game was washed out.
I'm going to go with rain out, because looking at the lights that were out here, Frontier lights were still on, so I understand it is a rain out from our studio.
Headed along out of bounds on the near side of midfield. There's the throw in. O'Neal works it along the 40 in the Rhino territory, stepping up Sanfilippo, but that's picked off his foot and carried away by the Mariners. In the middle for Fenger with the left foot trying to slot it through to Simmons, spinning around, the ball taken away by the Rhinos. And chipped out on the near side by Howes, running onto the ball to Steele, drives it along the near side. Steele at the midfield line, trying to switch it to the other side. Woods in underneath it, in a collision with Ball, very heavy collision. They go down, play goes on, there's no call made. Woods is slow getting up. In fact, he's not getting up at the moment. And the ball is into Virginia territory, pass through midfield into Rhino territory. Fenger with it, turns it up the left side, across the 35, slotted through, but stepping in to steal it is Palguda. The Rhinos have it back. And Woods now getting up. I think he was trying to do the same thing. But
it's old. It really is old.
Play just continued on. Woods is up and he's fine. And Filippo dropping it back at his 25. Taken there by Burrs. He'll switch it off on the near side to Palguda. Off the left wing. As pass through midfield for Mentongar. Being chased off on the near side by Shack and Steele. Right back to Mentongar. Trying to sneak it through and getting the foot on it. Fenger. Mentongar comes in, almost stole it right back, but then it's recovered and carried through midfield by the Mariners. Long chip up the right side. As the ball rolling to the touch line is out of bounds. Throw in for the Rhinos. From around their own 15 on the near side. Quick throw in along the near wing. No score, 37th minute. Ball knocked out of bounds by the Mariners, so another throw in for the Rhinos on the near side.
The rain really causing havoc. A lot of sloppy touches, some sloppy passes, the ball not getting to where it needs to be. And John Steele on that long swing looking for Johnny Ball. The wind catching up for Johnny Steele there.
Palguda's throw in. It's headed right back toward him, and he'll then one time it out toward the center circle. It bounced away from Ball, a loose ball, and finally up with it is Palguda. And the ball is becoming very slippery.
It's going to turn into a game where you're looking for some long balls. And some balls coming through the defense.
Chip downfield. Woods in the corner being bothered there by Delicott as the ball rolls toward the end line. Woods turning it to the corner. As he tried to put it off of Delicott, the ball out of bounds, and that off of the Rhinos, so it'll be a throw in deep in the corner for the Mariners. They have Woods and Delicott with a few words for each other, and the linesman across the way steps in between.
They've had a little battle going on tonight. Delicott, very big, strong forward, able to create some physical challenges. Woods has probably had enough of that. As the referee's assistant, luckily, right there in between the two of the big guys.
Free kick for the Mariners. Sold out house here at Paytech Park. Well, that's one thing about Paytech Park. Every game that's been played here so far is a sellout.
Good point. Hopefully it continues.
Well, Nelson placed the ball, then he decided he wanted to move it somewhere else.
And he's going to move it again.
Well, I'll tell you, that's exactly right. This delay tactic is really getting ridiculous.
That's the 0-0 at its best. That's the reason for it.
With the right foot, Nelson. Long floater through midfield. Coming down to the 35, headed away by the Rhinos, and Steele up with the ball. Turns it up the left side. No, that wasn't Steele, but Ball with a pass. Steele was grabbed onto and couldn't get to the ball, and no foul again was called. On the near wing, O'Neal on the attack. Cross down along the 18, headed away by Perry. All the way out to around the 40, stepping up as Shack to block it. Trying to push it forward and does to Fenger. Turns it off to the left. Mack goes to the outside. They're out the far end of the 18. Here's a cross along the 6 and booted away by the Rhinos. Kenny Birds out the far side. Checking back on the ball, Delicott. As he and Billick battle for the ball. It rolls out over the touchline on the far side. And a throw in for the Rhinos. Delicott quickly with the throw in on the restart for Janino. That's deflected up in the air, headed aside at midfield and controlled by the Mariners. Again into Rhino territory as Mack is taken down from behind by Delicott. Foul is called. Restart for the Mariners just across midfield into Rhino territory.
Virginia Beach early on has moved the ball better than the Rhinos. The midfield is winning it for them. Cupano Low has been wide open here. He is again with the ball on that far side.
And he'll serve it up the left wing side to Woods. Deep to the corner. The cross down inside. Bellow up in the air. Comes down with that at his 6. He'll throw it off on the near side. Mariners with 6 shots on the scoreboard. The Rhinos have 3. Ahead is John Ball as it looks like he's switched side, working the left wing. Now trying to slot it through to Delicott, but back to block it away is low, and it's recovered by the Mariners. Billick looking around. At his own 35, brings it forward. As he's watched by Mentongar, he'll drop it back to his 30 and pushed off on the near side once again. And Schwartz pass, but stepping in to block at his side. Pelguda tips it ahead for Delicott. Has it 35 yards out. Passes to the open right wing side, and running onto the ball is Juninho. Throwing it down inside, goes for the back post, and nobody for the Rhinos can get to it. Nice service by Juninho. He'll pass the cross along the 6th, but just wide of the net.
Good transition by the Rhinos. Delicott possessing the ball, drawing some defenders towards him. And now Juninho, as Don mentioned, has switched to the right side. I think that's a great spot for him. He can isolate himself 1v1 on that right flank, streaking into the cross into the box, no one there on the end of it. So a little tactical adjustment here from Coach Callaway. Now Juninho goes outside. John Ball looks like he's playing central alongside of Greg House.
So it'll be a goal kick for Nelson with the right foot. Sends it out through the center circle. Perry up, and that's flicked forward, and Pelguda then taking it. Simmons trying to settle it, comes down to the center circle. Ball back for it for the Rhinos, being bounced there by Billick as he gives him another push back, and this time ball is sent flying from behind, and we'll see what kind of call is being made here. The referee coming over, having a few words for Billick. Now he wants to talk to John Ball also. Delicott stepping in between. The referee says, no, this is none of your business.
If Jason Perry got a yellow card for slipping on the ball,
exactly.
Blatant push from Billick, and he gets away with a couple of harsh words.
41st minute, and no score. Into the center circle. It's Delicott, but he's pushed off the ball. Comes back at the midfield line. Turned to the outside. High chip across midfield into Rhino territory. In underneath it. That's booted high in the air across midfield by Birch. As it's headed back to the center circle. Cross midfield. In underneath it again. Blocked aside over the far wing. Low after it. Skipped off the outside of his foot and then ends up out of bounds. And so the whistle is blown as it was off of the Rhinos. So it'll be a throw in for Virginia Beach from around the Rochester 40 on the far side of the field.
And the rain, the wind picking up, definitely having an impact on the beauty of the game. It's going to have to turn into just long balls into the box. Look for a skip or a mistake.
Throw in along the far side, rolling along the touchline deep to the corner, but the ball is out of bounds. So it'll be a throw in across the way for the Rhinos. Down around their own 30.
And luckily for this surface here, it's a field turf surface. If we're looking at natural grass, with the amount of rain we've gotten, this ball would never even move on the surface.
Licked across midfield for Mentongar. Turns along the midfield line, trying to escape and does. Works toward the center circle, still has the ball. Turns back, double teamed, the ball knocked away, but it's controlled once again by House for the Rhinos. Switching to the outside on the near wing for Pelguda. Across midfield, Juninho tried to stop but couldn't get to the ball. Laid on the near side, Simmons on the open right wing, and Perry steps in to knock it away into the stands.
That's good safe defending from Jason Perry. You're having some trouble with the footing. The ball very slippery. Get yourself back into position, organize the defense. Smart choice by Jason Perry.
Throw in on the near side for the Mariners. Caught it from 18 yards out. Going short of the throw in, back to the near side again, but blocked away and out of bounds. So the return pass is out, and it'll be a throw in for the Rhinos.
And I tell you, with this conditions, a bomb from Kenny Burtz when the Rhinos get deep in Virginia Beach territory could be just what the doctor ordered.
Here's the throw in along the near side, flick toward midfield. That's booted across the midfield line from Mentongar. Drawing it forward, and Steele overlapping as they make that Delicott. Ball is knocked loose, but taken right back by the Mariners on a pass out toward midfield. Chipped across the midfield line. Knocked down by Simmons in the center circle. That's pushed to the outside of the far wing, low after it. He'll draw it with the left foot and along the far touchline and down to the 18. The Rhinos after it, but Virginia Beach a back heel into the corner. That's a cross along in front, tipped toward the net, missing the short side. Out over the end line, another goal kick for the Rhinos.
Neat little toe poke there from Greg Simmons, but again, Cupano low. He's been the responsibility of John Ball. Neither of those guys want to play defense tonight.
Other sponsors of these broadcasts tonight include Nothnagel, Rochester's full-service realtor. And also these games will be brought to you all season long by Salvatore's. Goal kick for Scott Vallow. Still scoreless here at Frontier. Or no, wait a minute, that's down the road here at Paytech. Last midfield.
The Rhinos going into the wind here in the first half.
And who's going into the rain?
I think all of us.
All of us. That's out of bounds on the near side. Well, actually, a foul is called, so it'll be a restart for the Mariners on the near side of the field. We're in the 44th minute at Frontier. And the Mariners leading in shots 7-4. Mariners have not been outshot this season. In fact, they have led in shots every game except for last game, in which these two teams ended up even in shots at 11 apiece.
Yeah, they're a different team. Jay Hoffman has done a wonderful job turning this organization around.
Yeah, they're unbeaten in the last 4. I think they lost the first game, and then we have a slide tackle by Sanfilippo, and a foul is called, and it's a free kick for Virginia Beach, 20 yards out at the far corner of the box. Let's see, I think they lost the first game of the season, and they've gone unbeaten since with 3 wins and a tie.
They have been solid. They've really reorganized from top to bottom. The facility is beautiful. The staff much more professional down in Virginia Beach, and on the field, the product much, much better here in the USL First Division.
So here's the restart. It's chipped down inside. Vallow right into his hands. Takes it at his 3 and brings it away. Now waiting for the players to move away.
It's something you're looking at for Virginia Beach is depth, something they haven't had for quite some time. You've got Craig Demon and Pato Aguilar on the bench. Those are some quality names. John Newsom also.
2 minutes of stoppage time. 2 minutes of additional time. Thanks a lot.
There will be 2 minutes.
Why don't we ought to put up the sign, take 20 minutes off of the clock.
You had some time off with the power outage. You want more?
Yeah. Well, the wind is picking up and is blowing the rain right in our faces here. And for those of us that wear glasses, we can no longer see the field.
You're doing a good job. You're hanging in there.
And
now, see, Kenny Birch should be taking this throw-in.
Off the near side, Janino drawing it forward. Turn to the outside again along the near wing. Here's a high chip down in the box. Up in the air to bring it down at his 3 is the keeper for the Mariners.
That's a ball that's got to be taken away from the keeper. Inside the 6, Matt Nelson has already demonstrated he's tough. He's aggressive coming off the line. It's going to be drawn a little more away from the goalkeeper.
Without our permanent facility being built here, they put a tent up over top of this, and it's being blown around, and it's holding the rain. That's headed away, rolling toward the corner. And it hits the flag and goes out over the end line, creating a corner kick.
That's a big break for the Mariners in stoppage time now. Corner kick late, so we'll see if they push some numbers up. Yeah, they're keeping just 2 players back. Looks like Billick will also push up here.
So a corner kick, 3rd of the night for the Mariners. And it's all been off the same corner. Here it comes. Left-footed in-swinging kick low in the box. Booted through and out the far end. And rolls out over the end line. It'll be a goal kick or is it a corner kick the other side?
I can't tell because the referee is pointing somewhere.
He's pointing in the middle.
I've never seen
He's not pointing toward the goalie. He's not pointing toward the corner. He's pointing to the end line.
Is he wearing glasses? Maybe he can't see.
Well, maybe that's what he's supposed to do, is point directly at the end line. I don't know. But anyway, it's going to be a goal kick.
Never seen a goal kick call that way, but I guess there's a first for everything.
All right, stoppage time. And the whistle blows. Speaking of stoppage time, time is stopped. And the players will head to the locker room to dry off, hopefully. All right, been a very eventful evening so far here at the first night of Paytech Park. We've played 1 half of play, and still it's anybody's game as there's nothing been decided at this point. Through 1 half, it is the Raging Rhinos nothing, the Virginia Beach Mariners nothing. And this is the Rhinos Broadcast Network. Back at the wet Paytech Park here tonight. And for those that brought their water wings along, they were certainly smart to do so, as it is raining. And it's coming down really good right now. And as we've reached the halftime, a lot of people, I think, probably have gone underneath the stands for a little bit of a respite from the rain. But certainly something that has spoiled the great evening here is the rain. And I guess it probably hasn't helped in the caliber of play on the field, as neither team really able to create many opportunities.
Yeah, it's definitely affecting the style, the level of play that we're seeing. It's very difficult to control the ball. The surface is playing very quick when it skips in the air. And to get some kind of composure, some touch on the ball, very difficult. Now the wind even picking up. So good thing for the Rhinos are down in the second half. They'll be going with the wind at their back.
We've had a little bit of everything except for goal scoring here tonight as we check out the Marina Dodge first half statistics. And there's no scoring to talk about in the first half. On the score clock, we have 7 shots for the Mariners and 4 for the Rhinos. Saves, 4 for Scott Vallow and 1 at the other end for Nelson. Corner kicks, 4 for the Mariners and 2 for the Rhinos. And 9 fouls against Rochester and 7 against the Virginia Beach Mariners. So there's your Marina Dodge first half statistics. Thank you very much to the score clock. That's great, huh?
Makes your job easier, doesn't it?
Didn't even have to keep track
of you looking down right in that book. You've got it right in front of you now.
Yeah. All right, so certainly hoping that the Rhinos will be able to put together a second half that'll maybe result in a goal.
Virginia Beach has definitely had the better run of play in the first half. Coach Callaway made a tactical adjustment by pushing Sanfilippo more into the midfield. Now we'll see what happens in the second half if Rochester can get some more creativity out of the midfield leading up to the big guys up top.
All right, have a halftime guest to talk to in just a moment. We shall continue from Paytech Park after these words. This is the Rhinos Broadcast Network. Interesting evening for the inaugural game here at Paytech Park. We've had Wayne. See, can't even talk right. Wayne and wind, and we've had power outages. We've had it all here tonight. And alongside to enjoy this great evening is Tim Holt, the Vice President of USL. And we welcome you to lovely Rochester.
Thank you, Don. It's always great to be in Rochester, especially on a night like this.
Now, when you left Miami, was it Miami?
Tampa.
Tampa? When you left Tampa this morning, what was it?
It's about 90 degrees and no wind, a lot of sun. UV index of about 11.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely been a little bit of a change. But this is soccer weather. We got a perfect soccer stadium here to play in and beautiful soccer weather as you'd recognize it around the world. So it is a great event. It's a great venue. And we're just excited to be a part of this.
Now, you're able to see the stadium when you arrived here this afternoon before it got drenched here. What did you think?
Well, it takes your breath away, first of all, to realize that this is, this vision and this dream of the Rhinos ownership and Frank DeRoss is now a reality. And to be able to see the bricks and mortar and to be able to come in and see the turf down and the seats up and the scoreboard fired up. And it's something very special, and it gives you a sense of permanence about professional soccer, not only here in Rochester, but that we're seeing all over the United States and Canada. That the sport's here to stay.
Speaks well for the league, because right now you've got two stadiums opening tonight, right?
It's fantastic. We're opening a stadium tonight in Atlanta also with the Silverbacks. It's a little bit more modest. It seats about 3,500 in Phase 1 for it, but no less significant, no less important, as we have soccer-specific stadiums in Virginia Beach and Charleston, with Montreal and Vancouver stadiums in the works over the next couple of years. They're critical in order for our teams to be able to survive as franchises and businesses and continue to grow the clubs and grow the game in all the local markets. So from a league standpoint, it's fantastic. But more than from a USL standpoint, this is about Rochester. This is about the Rhinos and what they've done in the city of Rochester, and something very, very special. So we're very happy for the Rhinos and everything that they've done. And this building's really befitting the franchise and the team that they've put forth for the community over the last decade.
It's sort of like the focus of the league changed. A few years ago, the league expanded by leaps and bounds to 30-some teams, which was really, at that point, I think was maybe a ridiculous number. But now the focus has gone from expanding in teams to, I think, building each individual franchise up as best as possible.
Yeah, it's a quality over quantity type of thing. So, and the philosophy is different. We're not about just adding as many teams. We have other leagues for that. The USL Second Division is a league that can be regional in growth and hit big numbers. Same with the PDL. USL First Division is a different model. We don't really see it growing beyond 16 teams. And if we can get to 16 teams that are quality and are adding value, like the Miami franchise that we've added, like the one we're going to add in Cary, North Carolina next year, franchises that more resemble the Rochesters and the Montreals and the Vancouvers of the world, this league's going to be very strong. It's growing, and it's growing in terms of the strength of the franchises and the strength of the league rather than in sheer numbers.
What about the individual games, the player, the talent pool, the level of play?
It gets better every year. 2006 is better than 2005, which was better than 2004. Anyone that watches the game will know that. And one thing I think the difference between Major League Soccer and USL First Division right now in terms of the quality of the play on the field, and we see that in the Open Cups all the time, is narrowing.
Yeah. We were talking about it earlier. The number of scoreless ties over the last few games. Everybody wants to see offense, but it's not happening right now in this league.
Those are trends, and they happen. And we'll have 5-4 games, and we'll have a couple weeks later in the season where there'll be 7-goal games that happen. And I don't think it's anything that's happening because of rules changes or coaches. That happens in this sport from time to time. I think, again, teams are very well organized in this league. They're very strong. They're strong in the back, and it's and tactically much more intelligent than they were 3 or 4 years ago. So it's important that the game be open and entertaining for the fans that are coming out to play. And nothing doesn't mean it was a boring game to watch. And I think you'll see that change over the course of the year.
How about attendance figures around the league?
Again, very solid. Usually the attendance goes up after schools traditionally let out and after Memorial Day. But it's over, the league average right now is over 4,000. Again, league attendance has gone up each of the last 7 years, which I think speaks to the quality of the league and the individual franchises. So we feel great about that. Just in every way, on and off the field, the league is developing sort of the way we've hoped that it would develop here over this decade, and that's going to continue to get better as teams pursue their own Paytech Parks and their various markets, and continue to invest in becoming full vertically integrated youth soccer clubs from the youth level all the way to the senior level. And it's fantastic. The Rhinos have added a women's team here. That's very important. They're getting much more involved with the junior Rhinos and the youth, and they have their own facility now. These are the things that make you permanent in your soccer markets.
Glad to have you here. It was just unfortunate that the night turned out to be like it is, but certainly for a great evening like this, it's good to have somebody from the league here.
Don, it's always my pleasure to be here. Two great teams and a great facility, and we look forward to many more.
All right, thanks a lot. Find a dry spot, will you?
I will. Thanks.
Take care. Tim Holt, who is the vice president of the league, and we shall continue very shortly from the youth facility, Paytech Park, in its inaugural game here tonight. It is scoreless at the half between the Rhinos and the Mariners, and this is the Rhinos Broadcast Network. Well, here at Paytech Park, the rain continues to come down. Or go sideways, as Joe said.
It is raining sideways with the wind. It's unbelievable.
And the players will be making their way out of their locker rooms very shortly to get underway with the second half. There's no score so far between the Rhinos and the Virginia Beach Mariners. I'm Don Stevens alongside Joe Giuliano, and we're glad to have you here for this big event tonight in the sold-out Paytech Park. I wonder how many people decided to bag it for the halftime, and quite a few people that left the stands, but I think probably they're underneath. Hopefully they'll be able to come back out for this. You know, soccer fans are they're a resilient group.
We don't know what rain delays and postponements. We do it. We could do it through the rain, through the snow, and they'll be back in the stands. I looked underneath the main level here, and there's a lot of fans just taking a little bit of a break, but they'll be back to cheer on the Rhinos.
Well, you know, I was going to look up some information to pass along to you, but if I get it out, it'll get all wet. I don't know if I want to get it out or not. I got my hands buried inside my coat. The next game for the Rhinos will be next Friday night as they travel to Virginia Beach to meet the Mariners, of course. That's next Friday night. Then the week after, the Rhinos will return home for their second game at Paytech Park. Of course, there's some other events coming up. The first game for the women's team will be on, I think that's Friday night the 9th. And then the Rattlers will be playing on Saturday night the 10th.
Yes.
So that's the home openers for those two teams next weekend. And the Rhinos gone, but the following weekend, the Rhinos will be back here on, it's about the 17th, isn't it?
Saturday, June 17th, 2 weeks from tonight.
And who's that against?
Yeah, you got to ask me that now, Don, don't you? Give me a second.
See, it's better. I let you get your notes out because you can get your stuff all wet.
Give me a second here. 17th is going to be Portland.
Oh, Portland Timbers coming to town. All right, so that's what's happening here in the near future for the Rhinos. All right, the players coming out onto the field will be getting underway with the second half in just a moment. From Paytech Park, it is scoreless between the Rhinos and the Mariners, and this is the Rhinos Broadcast Network.
Next up, it's your turn to sound off on tonight's game.
It's the Nextel Direct Connect post-game call-in show.
We will take your calls. We would love to take your calls.
Call in now, 222-9393.
Welcome back to the Raging Rhinos Broadcast Network. It's time for the Nextel Direct call-in show, driven by Auto Depot and Auction Direct. I'm Joe Giuliano. Normally at this time, Soccer Sam joins us, but he's got a family commitment in Arizona. Hopefully Soccer Sam will be calling in to talk about tonight's game with the Rochester Rhinos and the Virginia Beach Mariners. Again, the final score, Rochester 2, Virginia Beach 2. Don Stevens is sitting in for Soccer Sam tonight, and wow, what a night, Don. The grand opening of Paytech Park. Some great play, some sloppy play, some great goals, and power outages. We've seen everything happen here tonight. And, oh, by the way, folks, the phone number would probably help, too. The number here is 222-9393. Give us a call here on the Nextel Direct call-in show. Again, Joe Giuliano with Don Stevens sitting in for Soccer Sam, all cold and all wet, and I appreciate it.
Well, it is a rather chilly evening, to say the very least, and a cold night. And for those fans that braved it out through the whole game, they saw the most exciting part of the game in the last 10 minutes. And you know, it's just, you know, I'm still in disbelief, I guess, because here's a team that had given up one goal in 7 games, and tonight gave up 2, including one in the very last rush, if you will, on the night.
You know, we're going to talk about this with the fans too. Maybe it's a case of the Rhinos falling into a little bit of the hype of the situation with the stadium opening up tonight. The number here again is 222-9393. I believe we have Jim on the line. Hi, Jim. How are you doing on this wet evening?
Hello.
Hello, Jim.
Yes.
Megan's going to work on that. We had Jim on the line, I believe, but
I'm still here.
Back to that again. The number is 222-9393. We don't hear Jim, though. If he can hear us, we don't hear him on this side of the line. The crowd, 13,700. The weather not cooperating for the Rhinos. What do you think about the conditions of the field? I mean, if it was a grass surface, then I think this game may have been stopped.
Well, we saw that over at Frontier Field, especially with the surface where we had, at some points around the base paths, we had some lakes that the teams and the players had to contend with. But tonight there was really was no change. You saw a little splash of water now and then, but other than that, it was a very consistent surface throughout the night.
Don, besides the coaches and the players, you're the only person who's seen and Soccer Sam, you're the only people who've seen this team play the first 7 games of the year. This is not what you've seen on the road, is it?
Which part?
The first 70 minutes.
Oh, no, well, I still think that the team has been a little tired because of the road travel, but I don't know that tiredness played into it here tonight. I think you called it, Ian, that there was really a definite nervousness, if you will, at the part of the team. It just seemed very tentative. Things weren't working. Anything they tried just went awry until they got to the point where they were training in the game and time was running out, and then they just finally said, hey, we've got to get it going. And when they started playing, the last 10 minutes of the game, that's what I witnessed in the first 4 or 5 games of the season. The last 2 games on the road were a little more tentative because, again, I think that the team might have been road weary, if you will, and they were more deliberate in their play. But when they opened it up here, as you saw in the last 10 minutes of the game, that's the team that I saw for the first few games.
So bigger, better things yet to come for the Rochester Raging Rhinos. And the number here again is 222-9393. Give us a call. This is the Nextel Direct call-in show. If you're in your cars, nice and dry now after watching the first game ever at Paytech Park. Question I wanted to ask you. You've covered this team, games at home, games away. From a broadcast standpoint, our position here got to be the best we've had home or away.
You can't do any better. Can't do any better than this. I mean, we play in some nice facilities now. Playing some great spots, but I don't know that there's any that are quite this close to the field. There's a lot of places, most places I'm pretty much directly at center field along the midfield line, but I don't know that I'm as close as here anywhere else.
We want to hear from you, the fans, tonight. Finally, Paytech Park, after 8 long years of work by Frank Duras, politicians in the area, and the Rhinos ownership group. Your thoughts, besides the weather and everything else, your thoughts on the stadium, the concession stands, the video scoreboard. Give us a call at 222-9393, and we can chat about that. Virginia Beach has a game tomorrow at Toronto. Surprised Coach Hoffman didn't make some more changes, and I think one thing that he really should be ashamed of, really, is Craig Demon should have gotten 5 minutes tonight as a tribute to his great career. I'm surprised he didn't get any time at all.
Well, but on the other hand, look what he did. It looked like maybe he made the choices because he came back and tied it up and
I guess you can't
rob the Rhinos of a couple of points.
Selfish reasons on my behalf.
Yeah.
The number again, 222-9393. I believe we have Jim back on the line. Jim, how are you?
Yes, how you doing?
Good, thanks for calling back.
Well, I'll tell you, it was still a good game. It was a great game.
Considering the weather and everything, you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, just the fact that we're there now, I think that has a lot to do with upcoming games.
Jim, did you stick it out for the whole game?
Yes, I did.
Well, good for you. Where were you sitting?
I'm down in midfield in 26.
126?
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the sight lines compared to Frontier Field? What are the fans who didn't get a chance to make it tonight? What are they gonna experience when they come to this beautiful stadium?
It's going to be an awesome sight, just like it was for us. I love being close to the field. I think just being so close to the play is just unbelievable. The sight line is great.
How about the game itself tonight? The Rhinos, not the best start that they wanted to make, but they came through, had a 2-1 lead. What did you think about their performance tonight?
It was still great. I mean, we didn't lose, so that's a plus. There's been a lot of scoreless games, so let's take them while we can. And I mean, they could have all been losses, too.
Yeah. Couple other questions, Jim. How'd you find parking situation? Were you all right there?
Yeah, I've got the club seating, so I'm okay.
All right, good. And how about the scoreboard?
Excellent. I mean, I wish it could be bigger. Yeah. I do have one ugly comment.
All right.
What do you say we get the Stampede out of the stands and put them under the scoreboard? You know, you can only listen to those cowbells and all that noise for just so long. That's a long night when you got to listen to that.
Now, Jim, you're in 126. They're in 132. So that's pretty close to you. You can hear everything that's going on with that group?
Yeah. And there was a bunch in 26 just as bad. Too close. I've never been that close to all that noise, and I
don't. So we don't hear anything else besides us. So.
I have to hear Don all night.
Yeah, I got to hear Joe. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I'd rather hear Don than the Stampede or anybody. I still think they should be. You know, when they were over at Frontier, being under the scoreboard and whatnot like they were, you could just see them and you could hear enough. But I don't know. I was just very distracted with all the noise. I'm not used to it, I guess.
All right.
We appreciate your concerns, Jim, and I'm sure the management is listening, and we'll see what happens with that. But thanks for the call tonight.
You bet.
All right, Jim, thank you for calling in. The number again is 222-9393. This is the Nextel Direct call-in show, driven by Auto Depot and Auction Direct. Back to the phones, and let's speak with Drew. Drew, how are you tonight?
Hey, guys. Calling from Section 132. We had a great time making some noise. Hey, the old folks are going to get bothered no matter what, and no matter how much noise goes on. This isn't the PGA Championship. That's not coming for another 4 or 5 years. So, hey, it's a soccer game. We got to make some noise, have some fun.
So your thoughts on the stadium? I mean, Paytech Park, finally a reality. You guys used to be behind the goal in the dugout. Your new location, your thoughts on the stadium?
Hey, it's great. I guess you guys are so upset about being close to the field, but the other side of the field is so far away now, that's the only thing.
It's 120 long by 77. We had a caller, Drew, you're in the Stampede, right?
Absolutely.
We had a caller say that you guys should be set up maybe underneath the scoreboard. How do you like that location?
Hey, like I said, PGA Championship's coming in another couple years. We're not there yet.
Go ahead.
This is a soccer game. We're here to have fun, make some noise. That's how I love this soccer game.
You guys are a great bunch of supporters. We appreciate your support, definitely.
How'd you find everything else, like the concession stands, the restrooms, the parking situation, and so on? How'd you find all that stuff tonight?
I think the parking was better than at Frontier. There's so many more beyond the paid parking lots. There's so many neighborhood lots. There's so many police on the street. I had no problem. I thought it was fantastic. I could get in and out real easy. I guess as long as you know where you're going, it's fine.
Yeah. And the scoreboard?
Oh, we loved it. Hey, the flashing in and out. At first we thought maybe that was just one of their special effects, but,
How about the sound system?
It's pretty loud right behind us.
You thought the power outage was a special effect?
Yeah, that's what we were thinking at first.
Hey, who knows, right?
Oh yeah, maybe Sammy was messing with us from afar or something. Who knows?
Who knows? He's got the touch. Drew, anything else tonight?
Hey, no, it's a great game. Good to see the guys playing again. It's really the first look we've had at this team, and it's great to see Ray getting some time, man. I mean, Ray's a great addition to this community. You really take time to be a part. He's not just here for the few months that he plays and then go home and leave us alone. He's a great community member, great addition to the community. So it's good to see somebody, a quality person like him, get a good opportunity tonight. So it was fun game. Can't wait to do it again.
I think Ray Martinez really changed the complexion of the game. His crosses were pretty excellent. You guys saw it from that corner. They were coming right at you. Do you think that really was a big factor in changing the game?
Absolutely. And his speed, he's got world-class speed that when you come in the 70th minute, whenever he came in, that's totally going to change the game. Those defenders are tired. We were coming at them almost like the sheets of rain for a while. So those defenders are going to get tired. He's going to get by them, and he's a quality crosser. I mean, practices all the time at TSC with the old guys. So what can you say?
Hey, Drew, thanks for the call. Keep the Stampede going.
All right, man. Take care.
Hey, Drew with the call at 222-9393. Let's go back to the phones. Iggy, good evening.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. I got a disagreement. Gbeke, for me, was the player of the game. I don't know why they didn't start him.
Gbeke is your player of the game. You didn't think Martinez was a big factor tonight?
Martinez was good. He was given the crosses, but if you remember, Scotty was given the crosses. We had other guys giving crosses in the first half, but the crosses weren't the key. It was Gbeke in the middle. He was going nuts. When he's in there, then Delicott can do his stuff, and the two of them are just too much for the defense.
Yeah, I made the comment during the broadcast that once he came in, it's just such a great option to have those two big guys up top, and then Mentongar kind of as a withdrawn striker. I think that's the way these guys will be most effective.
I hate to say it, the first half, Mentongar broke up more plays than their defense did, but when he's withdrawn behind Gbeke and Delicott, that's where Mentongar is most effective.
Your thoughts on the stadium? It's been a long road, Frank Duras, endless working on this situation here.
Guys, I've been waiting for a new stadium since Hollander Stadium got torn down. So, this is like a dream come true for me.
Your thoughts on the scoreboard, the concessions, the parking? Give us the whole take on the thing.
Everything is awesome. I mean, what more can you ask for as a fan, other than better weather, but I stuck it out. I've coached and played in worse weather than this, so, the true soccer fans are usually former soccer players, and, we've all gone through bad weather.
I know you're buddies with Soccer Sam, and hopefully Sam's listening on the web down in Arizona. Any messages for Sammy?
Sammy, you would have loved the second half. It was like the best half of soccer I've ever seen. Unfortunately, they tied it, but you know what? At least we didn't get a loss, for the game, for the home opener.
Iggy, we'll see you again, I assume, at Paytech, right?
Oh, yeah, right there, section 26, second row up, right in the middle.
All right, Iggy, thanks for the call, and get dry.
All right.
All right, Iggy, thank you for calling tonight. The Nextel Direct Connect call-in show driven by Auto Depot USA. The number here is 222-9393. Joe Giuliano with Don Stevens sitting in for Soccer Sam, getting some overtime tonight. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. This is the Nextel Direct call-in show. You're listening to the Raging Rhinos Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the Nextel Direct Connect call-in show driven by Auto Depot and Auction Direct. I'm Joe Giuliano. The final score for the grand opening game at Paytech Park, the Rhinos 2, the Virginia Beach Mariners 2, in a wild, fun-filled evening here at Paytech Park. The number for the call-in show is 222-9393. And let's go back to the phones. The phones, I understand, are lighting up. Stuart is on the line now. Stuart, welcome to the postgame show.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you. I just thought I wanted to just respond to somebody who was talking about the noise of the Stampede. I was very encouraged to hear such a noisy contingent there of the Stampede. I was kind of surprised to see how many guys were there with the Stampede, and it was nice to hear them make some noise. You said that some of the directors might be listening tonight, and I just wanted to tell them that when I come to the Rhinos, I really appreciate that.
Stuart, you sound like you may have a British or Scottish accent.
Yeah, British, yep.
Have you seen games in the UK? And I'm sure the atmosphere is very similar to what the Stampede bring.
Yeah, yes, it is. I mean, I've been to many games over there in the UK, and that was, as I said, a lot of those Stampede guys, they reminded me of some of the British fans, and some of the chants they were singing were definitely British chants. And what I find annoying is the constant loudspeaker and the music.
You didn't like that loud music?
No, I find that very annoying, and I find that very distracting, and it's a lot louder than the Stampede. So,
let's talk about the venue itself. I've been over to Europe to see many games, and this is something that we see over there. But for the States, your thoughts on the Paytech Park, the sight lines, and the venue comparison to the great European parks?
Well, I think I was really impressed with Paytech Park tonight. It wasn't really what I expected. but I'd been to Frontier Field before, and I've seen DC United play down in Washington, D.C., and what struck me about seeing DC United was that you have this huge stadium for the Robert Kennedy Stadium. There's, can fill something like 80,000 or 90,000 people.
Yeah, we've played there.
Yeah, and, they only have 10,000 fans, so it looks like they only have about 300 fans there because it's such a huge stadium. So it's nice to see, what's the capacity for Paytech Park?
13,700.
And it's pretty full, so it's nice to see a full stadium, and it was very nice to see. I mean, everyone was even despite the weather, everybody was enjoying themselves, and it was a really good atmosphere.
You said that it wasn't quite what you expected. What was it you expected?
I thought, and I don't know if this sounds a bit weird, but I thought it was going to be a lot, when you walk around the outside of the field, and you're walking underneath the seats, I thought that would all be enclosed. I didn't think it would all be outside.
Oh, so you thought it was a $100 million stadium instead of a $40 million stadium.
Yeah, I haven't really been paying attention.
Yeah. I guess the big thing, though, is once you're inside at your seats, the sight lines and the situation to watch a game is second to none.
Yeah, it was great. And I was on the bleachers behind the goal, and it was really cool to be so close to the field. I really like being close to the field, and that was really good. And my 4-year-old daughter was actually given a soccer ball by Jonathan Bolaños, I think his name is, tonight at the start of the game, before the game. So that made her day as well.
Well, Stuart, hopefully you'll come back to another game.
Oh, definitely will do, yes.
All right, Stuart, thanks for the call tonight. The number here again is 222-9393. We've got some calls lined up. Back to the phones, and let's go speak with Dale. Good evening, Dale.
Yes, good evening.
How are you?
Great. Dry now, thank goodness, but it's a great facility. They've done a first-class job on it. All the sight lines are great, scoreboard's great, sound system's good and all that. My only contention is the parking situation wasn't as as good as I would like to see. I think that might be their downfall. Hopefully they can get that squared away here in the future. We parked over at the Valio site there and used the shuttle service. Unfortunately, they didn't have quite enough buses for all the people that were over there, but we did manage to make it through it. But that's probably the only negative thing I could see about the facility.
And let's not forget the Valio situation. The Red Wings were playing, so the lots at Frontier Field were going to be taken up because the game was going on, but that was rained out. I think if there's not a situation where events are at both venues, I don't think the Valio situation is going to be a major issue.
Well, the one thing that you've got to determine, of course, is how much those lots are used, and then you can figure out how many of the shuttle buses you need. So if there was not enough shuttle buses, I'm sure that they were watching that closely tonight, and if that's the case, then they'll adjust.
Yeah, I sure hope so, because I hate to see that, put a damper on things, because it's a fantastic facility.
Well, it just turned out that it was one of those nights here. The Red Wings are playing, and there was something going on over at the Blue Cross Arena. Well, that was this afternoon. I'm not sure if there was tonight, but there were so many things going on in the area all in one day, as it turns out, that it might be a little bit of an abnormal situation here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but hey, got to work the kinks and the bugs out of it here.
Besides, if there wasn't something that was sort of a little awry, if you will, it would be very boring. If everything went according to plan, it would be,
nothing to
half
talk
the
about.
fun is having a challenge, right?
Yeah, you are so correct there.
Dale, did you like the game itself, though?
Yes, it did. I thought they played, well. Little problems here and there adjusting to the new field for them, but they got it together.
Well, hopefully you'll come back for some more action here at Paytech Park.
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't miss it.
All right, Dale, thanks for the call here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, the number again is 222-9393. This is the Nextel Direct Call-In Show. Joe Giuliano with Don Stevens sitting in for Soccer Sam, and we have Oz on the line. Good evening, Oz. How are you?
Hi, good. I'm coming all the way from Toronto. I'm with the Toronto Lynx fan club, and of course I make my trip to Rochester every year, more than once. And of course, I loved everything about Paytech Park. It's just a great facility. Too bad the weather was like it is, but we got off a little bit earlier and went to the Dinosaur Barbecue Bar.
Nice.
That's where I am now. Having a great time.
So the stadium, you've been to Frontier, you've been to Paytech now. Your thoughts coming down from Toronto to the stadium?
Well, I love it, of course. I've been waiting for this now for several months, years actually. Watched the progress of the stadium on the internet, and just loved everything about it. I spoke to Chris Economides earlier, just before the game, and we talked just for a few minutes, and it's just great. The surface was immaculate, and it took the weather real well. You can see that the ball actually held a true bounce. A little slippage in a little bit, but just fabulous. So it's too bad that the weather was the way it is, but it'll be better in the future, no problem.
We're talking with Oz, and the number here again, the Nextel Direct Call-In Show is 222-9393. Give us a call. Oz, now you're heading back to Toronto tonight. You've got Virginia Beach
we're
tomorrow.
Staying overnight. We're staying overnight and just going by in the morning and saying goodbye to Paytech Park for a few weeks, and then we'll be back towards the end of June when Toronto comes here. I think they come here in July. I'm sorry. But we might come here before that.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself tonight.
As you know, we're building a stadium in Toronto, for the new MLS franchise.
Let me ask you that question. Well, how is that franchise going to do in Toronto?
Well, it'll be tricky, but the people behind it, of course, have some major money. Yourself, they're the owners of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So they know that they've got their work cut out, but because there's a commitment by Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, I think they'll do okay. But it'll be a bit tricky at first. They have to get some of these Canadian boys that are playing overseas, bring them back home, much like you guys did with the American players, Alexi Lalas and all these other guys. So Canada has to do pretty well the same thing. And I've heard rumors of possibly Owen Hargreaves coming to Canada. Dwayne De Rosario, who of course was playing in Houston, might be lured to play in Toronto.
Well, Oz, hopefully that stadium works out for Toronto. We appreciate the call. We're glad you enjoyed the grand opening of Paytech Park.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Oz. All right, that's Oz from Toronto making the trip down. Let's take a quick break. You're listening to the Nextel Direct Call-In Show driven by Auto Depot and Auction Direct. This is the Raging Rhinos Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the Nextel Direct Call-In Show driven by Auto Depot and Auction Direct. I'm Joe Giuliano with a very chilly Don Stevens. Now, this is a late night for you.
Boy, this is way past my bedtime. Actually, I'm not sure which coast I'm on right now, so I don't know if it's my bedtime or not yet.
Don't get too comfortable because the travel starts again next week.
Before I forget, though, kudos to the crew around the stadium here, the ground crew. I mean, when we were setting up and going on the air tonight, they were screwing this tent into place. They've been trying to keep water off of us all night long here. They've been working throughout the day, throughout the night, and getting this place ready to open today. And the weather did not cooperate for the grounds crew, so it was quadruple duty for the folks in the ground crew. But certainly our thanks to all of the grounds crew for all they did tonight, and especially helping us out and the rest of the stadium. They did a great job, and all the best to them.
It's a great thank you. They definitely deserve all of our thanks and consideration because we were kept nice and dry tonight with a tent that kept collapsing. But
and it's still collapsing.
Yeah, it's coming down now, but it doesn't matter. All right, this is the call-in show. The number is 222-9393. Let's go back to the phones, and we have Mike on the line. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
I just had a couple comments. I think the stadium was great. Kudos to everyone who made this thing happen. I've been going to the game since '96, the inaugural season, and I'm real happy to see the Rhinos got what they deserve in their own stadium. I don't know. I'm a little upset at the gentleman that called and has the nerve to put down the Stampede, there in the corner. I mean, these guys are passionate Rhinos fans, and I'll tell you what, I'd much rather hear them all night long instead of some of the music they're playing over the loudspeaker. And a little upsetting. I was sitting in the same section as that gentleman in 126. There's a crew behind up in the top there. They were cheering and stuff, and the Stampede. And it's just upsetting that the guy claims to be a fan, and you're going to put down the Stampede and what they're about and the support they give. And I just want to say kudos to those guys and continue doing what they're doing. And it was just, I don't know, it kind of really got my goat to hear that and put down past, fans like that and just the cheering that's going on. I mean, I'll leave that at that, and I'd like to say that the team looks good, and the stadium, everything, the sight lines are unbelievable. Our seats are fantastic. And just happy to be a part of it.
Things are different for different people. People have different personalities, different makeup. People go to games for different reasons. Some go to yell and scream. Some go to sit and watch the game. Some go to buy food at the concession stand. Some go to talk to their neighbors and so on and so forth. And it's going to take a little while for everybody to get comfortable and get into the spots that they want. For example, if one section maybe is too loud or too noisy for somebody, they might want to move their seats to a different area that is more conducive to what they're looking for. If the speaker system is too loud for you, you might want to see about another. It's just going to take time for everybody to find their niche in a brand new stadium.
I have the solution.
Okay.
If the Stampede is too loud, the speaker system is too loud, you bring your Walkman, tune into Fickle 93.3. You've got Don Stevens, myself. Problem solved.
Yeah. Put
right?
your headsets on just like we do. We don't hear anything else.
What do you think, Mike? Good idea or no? Well, Mike's gone okay. Megan, do we have Coach?
Mike thinks it's a good idea anyway.
Okay, we're working on getting Coach Calloway on the line. Mike thinks it's a great idea. We don't hear anything with the headphones on.
No, you don't.
I just hear you ranting and raving.
I didn't even hear the rain.
You heard the power outage, though. Look at people's thoughts on that.
It went click in my ears, yes.
A couple times. And I tell you one thing, if that stuff doesn't happen, there's nothing to talk about. And, wow, talk about memories. The power goes out, but everything continued to go. The light was still plenty enough for the action to continue, and just a great night overall. I wish the weather was a little better tonight, but still the final result, a 2-2 draw with Rochester and Virginia Beach. Let's go back to the phones. We have head coach Lori Calloway on the line. Coach, welcome to the post-game show, and I hope you're nice and dry.
I'm just going out, actually, guys. I'm heading, just gone into the car, heading back home, so... my pants are soaked, so I can't wait to get them off. But it's a bit of a damper on everything, but overall a fantastic happening for the city, and not displeased totally with the results. We're still unbeaten. We're still top of the league, so a lot of positives.
Coach, what a wild night. You made some tactical adjustments. You went with 3 in the back. Was Virginia Beach controlling much of the midfield, much to your dismay?
No, because they played sort of that way down there, and they started with the 3-5-2 again today, and we made an adjustment right away, pushed Frankie onto the right side and John Ball inside to try to match him up. I thought in the first 10 minutes we played very well. We got the goal that was disallowed. We were getting at them, and the disallowed goal seemed to deflate it a little bit, and they had the majority of their shots and corners in the next 15 minutes, where they sort of outplayed us for a little bit till we came to grips with their what they were doing, and then for the last 20 minutes or so of the first half, I thought it was sort of like kissing your sister. There was a nothing game. And the second half, we got into the guys at half-time, and said we got to do better, and I thought we came out and started to dominate the game right away, and then a couple of changes that we made a big difference. Ray obviously came on and made a difference with his assist on the goal, and then we got another great goal going down the left, which we'd done very little of in the first half. We hadn't had any penetration yet. We got a lot of that from Kraft in the second 45 minutes. From a game point of view, it's disappointing to, when you tie at home, you always consider you lose 2 points, and the away team always considers they gain a point. And that's the way we feel about it. But on the other hand, it was for the people that were able to stay, and there seemed like a lot of people had left because of the weather. But for those that stayed, it was a heck of a second half and very exciting, and probably something that was fitting for the occasion. Just a shame that everything was dampened so much by the rain.
Yeah, it really did excite fans in the second half. Ray Martinez, I said during the broadcast, I thought he really changed the complexion of the game. The services from the flanks at times lacking any quality. Did you tell Ray get in there and whip some balls in and see what happens?
Yeah, well, we didn't have anything down the right in the first half in terms of quality crosses. Frankie was able to get forward on a couple of occasions, but we we were crossing the ball either behind the goal or straight to the goalkeeper or not getting past the first man. Ray's cross was beautiful. It was perfectly timed, and obviously a great header from for the goal from Charles. But and the second goal came from the left. Something we hadn't done much of in the first half. We got a lot of quality crosses coming in from the left in the second half. Matthew had two great headers that were just narrowly wide, delicate. I thought we were unfortunate not to win the game. There was a penalty in the second half. Absolutely, I'm certain of that. I mean, Delicate was pushed in the back. Had things had gone our way, we should have come away with the 3 points. We just didn't manage the clock very well in the last 5 minutes or the last 4 minutes of overtime. We should have been hanging onto the ball in the corners and shaving time off the clock. And 2 or 3 occasions we forced the ball and tried to cross the ball, and they got back possession, and one of those led to the goal, their equaliser.
You've had a chance to try out your new field in rather adverse conditions. What do you think of the field?
Well, I thought it was great in the warm-up before it started to get, it was holding water towards the end of the game. I thought in the second half it made it very difficult for the players. And I thought both teams handled it quite well, actually. But, a lot of the distribution went astray because of the footing and the standing water. I think both teams gave the ball away a lot, which in the normal circumstances they wouldn't have done. But there's been a lot of rain. Obviously, it started raining, I guess, from what the grounds crew was saying at 3 o'clock last night or this morning, when they were just going home at 3 o'clock this morning. It started to pour down. So for most of us, we probably didn't realise it was raining 5 or 6 hours before, 4 or 5 hours before people woke up this morning. And then, of course, as soon as the ribbon cutting took place, it came down again and it never stopped. And I think the field was remarkable that it drained so well, but it did have some standing water on it that caused some problems.
Yeah, it's still a whole lot better than what you would have had at Frontier Field tonight, though, isn't it?
It's a sort of a night like we had last year with Montreal in the monsoon, and we saw what conditions we had then. It just didn't get away, whereas this drains very, very well. I think there's probably 1 or 2 areas that they're still going to work on. And get the turf installer to come back and look at. There was some standing water at practice yesterday morning, which there shouldn't really. This morning, which there shouldn't really be. And I know Matthew Ford and the grounds crew are looking into that.
Coach, how was it preparing the team this week with all the hype in the paper and all of our radio shows surrounding Paytech Park? Was it hard to keep the guys focused on the match itself and not the opening of the stadium?
Well, we've tried our best, but let's face it, unless you take the team away from it into, another location, say, just far enough away, I think they're not going to get contacted by the media and all that stuff. You can't really protect them totally. And then, obviously, with the ribbon cutting, we had them out there at 6 o'clock, and then they stayed for another 20 minutes. It's obviously not the most ideal preparation. They were welcoming people as the gates were opened. And that's obviously not what they really need to be doing at that stage, but they need to be focusing on the game and totally on the game from, 6 o'clock last night is really the way you try to get them to focus and think about nothing else. Very difficult to do that in a situation like this. And on my part, I'm a big believer that we've got to be friends of the fans. We've got to greet the fans. We have to expose ourselves to the fans in various ways through appearances and certainly at the stadium. I think it's a big thing if the guys show that they care about their fans that are coming through these turnstiles. I know that last year when we did that, the response was tremendous. So, we have to deal with that. Did it have an effect on us in the first half? I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to make excuses. I think we just had a few guys under par in the first half, and we were able to make some changes, and we totally outplayed Virginia Beach. I think they only had 2 shots in the second half.
Coach, before we let you go, Virginia Beach last week, Virginia Beach this week. You've got them again next week. Tired of seeing these guys or what?
Am I going to what? These
Are you
guys,
tired of seeing them?
Joe?
Coach, can you hear me?
I missed the last part of your question.
You've seen them 2 times
getting
now.
sick of them?
Virginia Beach, you've got them again next week. Is it a matter, are you tired of seeing these guys? Is it a matter of just execution because you guys know each other so well?
Well, I'm not sure we're tired of them. I just think the scheduling, it's quirky. In soccer, you don't play games against the same team very often. But, this is America, and this is the way our league is, and sometimes, I guess, these things happen. We're very concerned about getting the dates that suit us as far as our home dates, and when we've got those dates at the league meetings, we sometimes are at the mercy of the scheduling, because you have to sort of play some of these road games when perhaps you don't, and sometimes against opponents that you would feel it's inappropriate because you've seen them so many times. But this is soccer in America. It's something we have to deal with, and it's the same for both teams, and they have a beautiful field down there, so we'll try and go down and do better than we did last time and make up for these 2 points lost tonight.
Well, Coach, go home, get nice and dry and warm. Congratulations on the opening of Paytech Park, and still the Rhinos remain undefeated at 5-0-3.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it, and it's always a pleasure. Take care.
All right, Coach Calloway on his way home, hopefully, to dry off and get warm. 5-0-3, though, after 8 games, and this team is still going in the right direction.
Well, and that's something we have to remember. I'm still stunned about that last goal for some reason. I mean, it just floored me that last goal was scored. But with the team, what they went through, and ordinarily they're very quiet, they're very focused when it comes to game time. But Coach Calloway, for the fans, thank him so much for allowing the players to come out to be part of the ribbon-cutting ceremonies, to greet the fans as they came into the stands, for all of the interviews that they've been doing over the last few days, all of the things they've talked about with this park. He did everything, he allowed everything to go on that he should not have, and they still came out without losing. So that's really, congratulations to the coach and to the players for that.
It is a first-class move by Coach Calloway and the players. And speaking of first-class players, let's go back to the phones. Charles Gbeke on the show right now. Mr. Gbeke, welcome to the post-game show. Congratulations on a beautiful goal.
Thank you for having me.
Charles, you must have been hungry coming off the bench. Chances weren't really coming our way in the match, but then you came in and really started to turn things around. Very hungry coming off the bench, looking to make something happen tonight?
Yeah, we have a great team, man. Obviously, there's a lot of competition, up front. So, obviously, when you come as a forward, you come to make a difference, So, I'm here, as a player to help my team, getting out of a desperation time. So, yeah, it was a great goal, and I'm really happy that we got away with the tie.
Congratulations scoring the first goal in Paytech Park history for the Rhinos, at least. The ball was served from Martinez. It was deflected. Was it difficult to keep track of where that ball was going?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't difficult because I know that Ray can cross the ball almost perfectly. So I was ready. I was ready for that cross, and I know what kind of player he is. So I was expecting a great ball by him, and it happened. And I think that's what we got to do. We got to build onto it, and keep working on it. Like I said, we're not a great team yet. Because we got so many new elements in the team, but we're striving towards something great. Yeah.
How did you feel after scoring the first goal for the Rhinos at Paytech Park? It must be a great feeling.
It's good as a personal achievement, but I'm not too focused on personal stuff. For me, the most important thing is winning. If the Rochester Rhinos are successful, then Charles Gbeke is successful. So for me, it's the team first, and we'll see what's going to happen with me after. Yeah.
All right. Speaking for your teammates, Charles, what's the players feeling now after having played a game here at Paytech Park? What do you think of the park?
I think the park is great, and the players are disappointed, obviously, because we like to win, at all time, but people need to understand that we have a great setup here. We got a brand new park, we got to build around that, and try to win games. We had an Open Cup coming up, we got a great season, we top of the league, we have to see all those great things that we're having right now.
Unfortunately, many of the fans didn't stick around for the second half to see your goal. There were a lot of them that left because of the weather. But you and your teammates, your thoughts on the fans at the beginning of the game? The house was packed, huh?
Oh yeah, it was great. It was great. It was a nice feeling. I played last year in Montreal, and I played with Montreal to play against Rochester, and I know that Rochester has great fans, and it was really happy to see all those people here and encouraging us. Even though the weather was really bad, and I know that and I just want to thank all the fans and all the people that came out today.
Charles, speaking of the weather, the rain still coming down as I look up into the lights here. How'd the field play? The surface very slow, very wet?
It was really slippery. It was the ball was going really fast, it's keeping, so it was really difficult to hold on to the ball, especially me as a target man. I had to hold the ball at all times, so it was pretty tough. But we had a goal here. Deli and I and all the guys, Johnny Mentongar, all the players. It was to come back from a 1-goal deficit, so you don't really think about a wet field.
Charles, from listening to the first 7 games, watching the game tonight, you guys seem most effective when it's you and Delicate up top together and Mentongar withdrawn, kind of behind you. Do you feel that's a pretty effective combination?
I think it's a pretty effective combination, but I think we need to build that chemistry and make sure that by the time we get to the playoffs, we perfect, and I think it doesn't happen. Great teams, it doesn't happen like the next day. You got to build into it. You got to talk to each other. You got to eat together. You got to go to restaurants together. In order to build that chemistry, and I think that's what we try to do. I'm great friend with Johnny Mentongar, and I get to know and daily every day. So, that's what we try to do. We try to build a team here and a winning team.
Well, Charles, like you say on that commercial for one of the sponsors, Eurotech, beautiful. The goal was beautiful. Give me a beautiful.
A beautiful goal, yeah.
Right, Charles.
You heard the commercial, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's what I'm talking about, the beautiful. Give me one of those beautifuls.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Charles Gbeke, great stuff tonight. Keep it up, okay?
Thank you very much.
Charles Gbeke scoring on a beautiful diving header.
Beautiful.
Very exciting. Yeah, very good. Beautiful. Very good. You're listening to the Nextel Direct call-in show driven by Auto Depot and Auction Direct. We'll take a break. The number here is 222-9393. You're listening to the Raging Rhinos Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the Nextel Direct call-in show driven by Auto Depot and Auction Direct. Joe Giuliano with Don Stevens, and I think we're just about out of here because this tent is going to collapse on top of us.
From under the tent, high atop Paytech Park.
Don is holding the last remaining leg that's standing up right here.
There's only one corner of this tent that is still standing. It's the one I'm holding on to here. The wind continues to blow, and well, yeah, we're going to get buried here.
It's been a wild night. Don, quickly, your final thoughts on the grand opening of Paytech Park?
Well, it was certainly a night that should have been just, one of the greatest all-time nights. It was spoiled by the weather, unfortunately. But I think the fans got the chance to see what it is going to be, and I think they're really going to enjoy the stadium when you get a good night out here with good weather and good game. I think the game is going to improve because the next game, it won't be the first game ever, and a lot of the pressures will be off. The players will be concentrating, I think, more on the game. Hopefully the weather will cooperate next time around, and some of the bugs will be worked out. The one part, there was a lot of things that haven't been done here yet at Paytech Park that were maybe even supposed to have been done for tonight, but time just simply ran out. It's like almost every game you're going to come to, you're going to see something new, perhaps. So keep coming back and see all the new things that are happening at Paytech.
Absolutely. My take on Paytech Park, as Charles Gbeke would say, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. You've been listening to the Nextel Direct call-in show driven by Auto Depot and Auction Direct. Don, great call in the game tonight.
Outstanding job for you, and certainly once again to Frank DeRoss and Steve Donner and Chris Economides, all of the politicians, all the dignitaries that were here and helped and were partly responsible for the facility, all the fans for coming out tonight. Outstanding. Megan back at the station during the power outages. Good job there. And the crews around the stadium, outstanding job. All of the officials and everybody up here, and thanks to everybody.
I second that. Thank you to everybody. It's been a beautiful evening. Even though it's rained, Paytech Park is finally a reality, and the Rhinos are back in action next Saturday, June 17th, against the Virginia Beach Friday.
Friday.
June 16th against the Virginia Beach Mariners. I will come on the air with the pregame show.
That is the
16th.
No, that's the week after.
Oh, my gosh. What am I thinking?
The 17th is back. That's the next home game.
Oh, you got me here. Okay, the 9th.
So, yeah, next
9th.
Friday night. The
June
6th will be the 9th. Yeah,
okay,
in Virginia
June
Beach.
9th. Forgive me, fans. It's cold, it's raining, it's wet. June 9th, the Rhinos in Virginia Beach. I'll begin the pregame show at 7 p.m. Don Stevens will have all the action at 7:35. Thanks for correcting me.
If we can get out from under this tent.
Exactly. So, folks, thanks to everybody for making this a reality. Paytech Park is finally open. We'll talk to you next week. Megan, great job in the studio. You've been listening to the Nextel Direct call-in show driven by Auto Depot and Auction Direct on the Rhinos Broadcast Network.